One of the toughest careers on the planet is being a real estate agent. No other industry has an 80% failure rate after the first 2 years. Competition is fierce and expenses are high. There's a good chance of going bankrupt in this business, but there's a small percentage of salespeople that earn more money than you could ever imagine. Anyone that's successful in sales has systems and unique approaches that allow them to stand out, get attention, and attract more clients than ever before. When I come to their town and completely revamp their entire operation, they find out what being a top producer is all about. Income starts rolling in, and they can finally pay off all their debts to build a real net worth for themselves. Most real estate agents struggle during the first part of their career, but later they get the help that they need for an immediate turnaround. And that's exactly what we do right here on Greg Luther's Real Estate Rescue. All right, today we are in Seven Valleys, Pennsylvania. I think that's one of the valleys right there, as a matter of fact. And we're meeting with a real estate agent. I believe she sells in Pennsylvania and Baltimore, Maryland. And she's been a member with us, with Greg Luther Inner Circle, for a while. Her business is going really good. She's got a bunch of money in the bank, and that money should not be in the bank. We're going to talk about how she handles her business, how she handles her finances, and what you have to do as a real estate agent to deal with that cash flow that so many agents struggle with, and make sure you are building a real net worth for yourself. So we are going to jump into some niches that'll be valuable for you, where you can learn a little bit about how she's growing her business, but I think you're going to get some money education here today as well. So follow along today as we meet with Erin on Greg Luther's Real Estate Rescue.
What I think I'm most excited about is for Greg and Nicole to really look through, all that I'm doing currently and where are the opportunities and finding those so that I can stop, potentially wasting time and stop spinning wheels where I may be spinning wheels and really maximize what I'm doing and focus in on those things that are going to get me like the best and greatest results in the fastest amount of time possible. So I'm looking to do the sprint, not the marathon in this situation. I'm most nervous about, anytime you feel like you're being exposed, around what maybe you're doing that you shouldn't be doing, or that's a time waster. And also, I guess, being really real about what are the things that yourself is holding you back, not necessarily just from like purely a like operational standpoint, but personally, like what is holding you back. And that's always not a fun like mirror to put in front of you, but that needs to be done as well. So yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, but it's all good. I'm a big girl, I can handle it.
Well, tell me a little bit about kind of what business looks like now. You've been full-time for 2.5 years?
2.5, yeah.
Okay. Good business, bad business? What do you love? What do you hate? Tell me a little bit about that.
It started out horrific.
Okay.
Yeah, we did already start. The first year I came from the fitness industry. I was an executive in the fitness industry for a long time. I won't say how many years because it'll say how old I am.
Yeah.
But so I've been licensed for 10 years, but I decided to go into full-time real estate 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And so it was a big jump. But when I made the jump, that's when the interest rates went kind of through the roof and everything just kind of stopped. And so I went into like full on panic mode. I was like, okay, I gave myself, about 6 months of like a cash runway to like try to build the business as quickly as I could. And I was just throwing everything I could out there and trying to build it. And it just, it was really slow the first year. And I thought to myself, this is not a good idea. Like I made a very, very bad decision.
Yeah.
And
Coming from the corporate world to 100% commission, that's tough.
yeah, it was a big transition. So, okay. But with the support of Andrea, my fiance, and like us, she was the one that was like, no, you can't quit. Because I was like starting to look at like, should I go back? Should I start applying for jobs? That sort of thing. And then she's like, no, you got to keep going. And so finally, like April of last year is when it really started to pick up. And a few things fell in place that allowed that to happen, which was great. But so the past year year and a half since has been better.
Okay.
And still, a long way to go. So, but yeah, what do I love about it? I love that there's no cap on what, from an income perspective.
Yeah.
I'm building my own business again and not having to build someone else's business. I'm building my own, which is nice. And that's the reason I made the transition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just the freedom that it gives me to be able to do that and kind of do what I want to do. So
Okay.
I love that part of it. But
Yeah.
the bad, not the bad side, but the challenging side is just the inconsistency right now. That's the biggest thing for me is like, how do I get it to the business to the point where I can get consistent results every single month.
Okay.
And, we talk about on the coaching calls all the time where it's just this roller coaster ride. And so I haven't quite found the secret sauce,
Okay.
which is why I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me the recipe.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about area, because you're in a unique spot. So you are, do we call this Southern PA?
Yeah.
And you're about 45 minutes from Baltimore, Maryland. You're licensed in both. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got licensed in Maryland. Maryland has reciprocity with Pennsylvania. So I was able just to apply for my PA license. And so I can do business in both states.
Mm-hmm.
And my office is in Baltimore. So I work out of that office, 2 times a week or so. And then the rest of the time I'm up here. The bulk of my business right now is here in PA just because of my new construction opportunities that are here. But I kind of work all over. I have listings in Harford County. I have listings here. I've got a listing in Anne Arundel County, which is down near the airport where you flew into. And so I'm kind of like, I'm willing to go at least like an hour from where I am right here just because of this is a little more remote. So it takes me 45 minutes to get to where I need to go anywhere. But so I'm just trying to still navigate like where is the biggest opportunity for me.
Okay.
And it feels a little scattered. It's not ideal that I'm kind of like in all these different areas. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I also need to go where the opportunities are right now just to try to build the business, as much as I can. And then kind of from there, figure out, okay, where are the opportunities coming from? Where can I kind of expand that more and take advantage of it more?
Okay.
So,
And then Baltimore, it's about 45 minutes away?
yeah.
Okay. And higher prices, more deals, but more agents.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So the average price point between here and Baltimore is probably like 100,000. So
100,000 more.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And same for, the other counties that kind of border this area, which is Carroll County, Harford County, um, and Baltimore County. Northern Baltimore County, kind of when right before you cross over the line, there's a lot of luxury opportunities in that corridor. Um, and then the further south you get, then you're getting into like Baltimore, which is
Okay.
depends where you are. It
Yeah.
depends on what that looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity around there.
Okay. So when you originally moved here to the Pennsylvania area, it was for kids to be close to parents and just logistically it worked.
Yeah.
Kids are off now, so they're gone.
There's on.
And it's time for you to decide where you're going to settle. Is this it? Is it Baltimore? Are you chasing the business or location, or what's perfect for you?
Yeah, I mean, ideally for us, we're looking to move back down to Baltimore. More for lifestyle purposes than business purposes.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit torn right now because since I've started the business, the bulk of my opportunities are here right now. So then it's like, okay, do we make the move to Baltimore? Because then now I'm driving 45 minutes the other way,
Hmm.
if I have things here. So we're in a little bit of flux too, I think at this point, as far as we know we want to move. Ideally, we want to move like in the next 12 to 18 months. But, that will also depend on, kind of where the business is and how things are going as well.
Okay.
But because we don't just want to move for the sake of moving. If we're going to move down there, it's got to be like our ideally exactly what we want, where we want to be down there before we'll make that move.
Yeah.
So
And is it more the property that you need to find, or is it finances to be in a certain spot, or
that's both.
confidence level, or like,
Yeah, it's both. It's both financial and us finding the right property as well. So
okay.
we know we want to be down, on the water and being, but again, I want to get the business to the place where that's not a stretch. The first 2 years of being in real estate too, being an independent contractor, and then had,
Yeah.
that financial piece of it of like, okay, now I've got to show tax returns that show that I make this much money and
Right.
all the things.
2 years of
So
tax returns too. Yeah.
so that's also been a timing thing for us,
Okay.
which is, part of the challenge right now too.
Okay. So over the last 12 months, you've grossed how much?
Um, Grossed. Oh, I don't have my numbers are on my paper.
100, 150,
Yeah, about 150,000.
150. Okay. So not too bad then. Obviously you want to do a lot more, that you can handle a lot more.
Yeah,
It's not like you're crazy busy in real estate, can't take on more appointments. You got a lot of runway
for sure.
for us to grow.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. We'll talk a little bit about kind of once we kind of dig into the details here, we'll talk about the marketing you're using, the approaches you're using, what niches are working best, that type of thing. What questions do you have as we get started
So,
here?
I know Andrea doesn't work with you in the business. Do you have a TC? Do you have anybody else who facilitates marketing or does anything? Or are you lone wolf
I
right now?
am lone wolf.
And I know when you first discussed wanting to be a part of this, you said you were looking at boomers and a little bit of luxury, but that you also had a pretty strong like new construction business.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned that there was going to maybe be a gentleman here today, which I know he's not. But what do you have kind of set up for new construction? Because that's a specific niche that if it's making you great money, and you said that's where your bulk is coming from, then yeah, you would want to dive into that.
And probably in PA.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does that currently look like, just so we know what we're dealing with?
Yeah, so right now I have 11 land listings, and so those are with the exclusive builder that I work with. So two communities. So one, both in Pennsylvania. They're about 20 minutes apart. So we have eight. Started with 8 lots in one. We're down to two. We have two left in that one, and that's where the bulk of my business came from last year. Was from that community, and then kind of the residual sales that came from that as well. Because the people that were buying in there, most of them were baby boomers, which was surprising to me at the time, but not now. And then they had houses to sell. So that was, a good kind of double ending on that. And then on the other side, I had, then we just got another community that has 8 lots in it as well. So, and then I have another one that's 3 lots in a community. So 11, actually 12. I have 12 land listings right now that are new construction opportunities.
Okay. Very good. Awesome. I think that's what we need kind of to get started here. I mean, what's your overall goal? Do you think it's just consistency or is it a lot more and consistency?
It's a lot more inconsistency, because I think what I'm finding in the new construction space, even though those are great opportunities for me, the average price point where we start at 800,000, so it's 800,000 and up. Most of them have been closer to 1 million.
Okay.
And then, so those are great, but over the last, I would say since like earlier this year, it's gotten slower. So we're not seeing. I would get interest every day. People calling like, tell me more about these lots. Da, 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 da. That activity has slowed, even though I'm still running, Facebook ad campaigns around them, all the things. So I know I need to supplement it with other things. So yeah, I just have more volume in general. So I've been going back to doing FISBOs, going back to looking at how I can work with expireds and kind of target those as well. So, and I know we'll dig into more of that, but I know that I need more volume of everything, but also across, I think, more price points as well, even though luxury and that end of it, I want that as a part of my business, but I can't rely on that solely because those are longer timelines as well. So, that's it's kind of like the whole mix, but it's volume as well as consistency. So
Okay.
something coming through, whether it's at this end or this end of the
Yeah.
price scale, and
Even if the checks are smaller, as long as
Yeah.
they're consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as I always have new money coming in, it keeps our cash flow
yeah,
good.
exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And I know that we're going to dig into finances, but we were kind of and we just talked about this on the coaching call where you're hoarding money in your bank account and you have to feel comfortable letting it go to pay off some debts.
Yep.
But meanwhile, you're accruing interest and everything else. So we're probably going to talk about that too, just because just to try to shift your mindset on that, because you could be investing that money in yourself and paying those down quicker so that they're not accumulating and that way and get for the bigger.
Let's just get uncomfortable real early. Let's just get. Yep.
I'm just seeding it. I'm just seeding it now before we sit down, so that way it's in the back of your head. Because you have to be truthful to the situation in order to get it fixed, right? So
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think that is pretty much everything I was trying to think of behind the scenes that could be going on. I know the new builds take longer. Yeah, they do. Anyway,
No specs. No specs at all. It's just land and we can build here.
Yes,
Okay.
and then we do a one-time close in the beginning, which is nice. So I get paid right at the very beginning as soon as we.
Oh, like a construction loan or something. Okay.
Yeah. So we're not waiting until the
That's
home is built before I get paid, which is nice.
Do they do a
No.
clawback if they back out of the deal? Well, they've already closed on it.
They already closed on
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're good.
So
Okay.
that works.
that's a unique
See it?
situation out here. All
Yeah. Good deal.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's get to work.
All right, let's do it.
So Erin is working in 2 states. She's working in Pennsylvania as well as Maryland. Now, it's 2 completely different markets. In Pennsylvania, she's selling a lot of new construction, but down in Maryland, she likes selling those downtown condos. Her ultimate goal is to live in Maryland full time and just sell around the Baltimore area. Now, obviously, there's a lot that needs to go in place to make this happen. We're going to create an entire blueprint to put that together for her You're actually going to be able to download that blueprint to use for yourself on today's episode. Let's dive right in. Let's talk a little bit about kind of where you're at, where you want to go. What's working for you now? I know we have a ton of marketing we're going to go over today. What has been your best lead source? Let's start with the good side first. What has worked for you in real estate? Has it been new builds or other stuff?
New builds.
New
The
builds?
new construction has definitely been the biggest contributor
Okay.
so far. And that actually came to me from the Facebook lead, a Facebook ad that I got from you when I.
Okay, from our ads. Yeah. Okay.
So I did a generic.
We already saved you. Thanks for being here, guys.
But that was really one of the first tactics that I used when I joined the coaching program. And I get a call from the builder, and he was like, "So, do you think you could bring me some buyers to this new community I have?" And at first, I was like, "Who is this guy?" Yeah, I was like, it didn't really sound legit at first. We could still laugh about it. And so I said, "Yeah, I'll come out and see what you have. Of course, if I have buyers, then I'll bring them to you." So went out, and then those lots initially, the first community, were listed with another realtor. And so when I went out there, we met. She kind of walked me through the new house and stuff. And then he said, "You know what? I want you to take all the listings." So he fired the realtor and gave all to me. And so from there, that was the first.
That's a good Facebook ad.
That was a good Facebook ad.
Yep.
Definitely paid dividends for sure.
So that's been really your cornerstone of the business, is having the new construction, the lots, the houses, that
Yeah.
type of thing that's bringing in other business.
Yeah, because when people come to look at the new construction too, if it isn't a good fit for them for some reason, then I've picked them up, finding them other homes in other places
Yeah.
and then selling their existing homes. So that's been a good source of ongoing business.
Okay, so the new construction side obviously has been good for you, and that's probably been the basis of your business up here in PA, right? Because you've got that, you landed that. If you would have landed that in Baltimore, you'd be doing more deals there.
Yes.
Not as many new deals in Baltimore. So, so that's been primary. Are you still doing Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. Is it working? Getting leads?
I get leads every single day.
Okay.
And they are the thing that I want to dig in with both of you is just how to get more conversion from them.
Yeah.
I have an initial follow-up that I do with all of them, and then I don't have anything after that other than they get put into like my normal like email campaigns or anything else that I'm sending out. But as far as a direct sort of call to action, I guess, sort of communication,
Yeah.
that's missing. So like I have like hundreds of leads and that have come through, but they're just kind of sitting there in my database, and they'll get an email every once in a while about what I'm
Yeah.
doing, what just sold, things that I'm trying to push, whatever. But I feel like that's a missing
Yeah.
opportunity.
Well, the good news is you're getting lots of leads coming in. So,
Yeah.
and you've got a short-term nurture. Generally what we'll do is a short-term and a long-term nurture. So a short-term nurture is usually 6 or 7 contacts in the first 21 days. We're not calling them at all. It's not necessary to call them, but all of the other medias that we can use. And then all of those go into a long-term nurture. That's probably what you need to build out,
Yeah.
is to look at, let's take, if you think of a client you sold a home a year and a half ago, your Facebook leads should get the same stuff they're getting. It all becomes your sphere. So all of your unconverted leads will go with past clients, friends, family, people that you remember from college, whatever the case is, they all go into one. So then you're building a bigger list of followers. If you can get to, if we look at Facebook and YouTube, if you've got 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000, all of them should be getting a long-term nurture. So if they come in that they want to know what their home is worth, they want to find access to unlisted homes, they'll get that short-term nurture because some of them will be ready right now. But after that, they go into a long-term. So we can dig into that a little bit as well for long-term nurture. But I think that's really, fortunately, you've got the advertising side down that you're getting lots of leads. Now we've just got to build out the back end. Once they come into our store, what are we selling them?
Right.
We're getting people in the door, but they look around and they walk out. That's kind of how you want to look at it from a live perspective.
And then it makes it easier to set it up that way. So you have your new construction leads coming in. They get their short term over the first 21 days. Then we'll talk about the other things you have coming. They each get their variables, but then they all go into the same nurture long term. So you're not having to now keep which email is supposed to hit when. It's all built out. And I know you have a CRM. There's no great CRM. They all suck in some capacity, like you've heard us say. But if your CRM can do those journeys or the drip campaigns, you can set those up so that way,
Not just email.
yeah, they automatically do it. And then if a text message can fire out, and if we could put something that gets automatically sent in the mail to them, so then that can be all done on autopilot without you thinking about it. And there's services that can help on that fulfillment side, plus doing your CRM correctly.
Okay. So on this page, the current marketing initiative,
Okay.
there's one else. So these are all the Facebook ads that I'm currently running.
Okay.
And so, no, I guess number of leads is relative, right? So that's where I would want ideally you both to take a look at kind of what the results I am getting and what I'm spending. And am I getting a good return? I don't know. I mean, I'll get and I can tell when the money kind of hits from a Facebook perspective, I guess, is that then I'll get 10 leads at one time.
Yeah.
But, and then I'll get nothing. And then when the money hits again, then it's like, vroom.
Yeah.
So I know probably if I was putting even more money toward it, then I'll probably be getting a lot more leads. But so that's something I'd love us to take a look at a little bit.
So Erin is getting lots of leads from Facebook. As a matter of fact, she's getting dozens of leads on a daily basis in many cases. So it's very easy for her to get those leads. The key is, how do you get them converted? You heard that she actually utilized the Facebook ads we provide for our Inner Circle coaching members. She used that Facebook ad to pick up a new construction builder, which has gotten her lots of closings there in the state of Pennsylvania. So what we want to do now is look at all of those leads that are coming in, and how do we create a great conversion campaign to get those people willing to meet with her?
How are you setting your Facebook ads up? Because that's interesting that you said that it's all coming at once. So do you have a daily budget or are you doing a monthly budget?
I do a weekly budget.
Okay, so that's probably why
Right.
it's hitting. So if
Okay.
you change it to a daily, it's going to change the algorithm and how it syndicates those ads.
Ah.
So that's something that we can look at more once we get to it. But when you're saying you're getting a pop and then a lag and a pop and a lag, it's because of how you're setting the money to spend.
Okay.
So that could be done differently. So you're getting a more consistent drip. And that also allows you, to then nurture them in a different way as well.
Right.
So, well, and ultimately it comes down to, you have to be confident that when I get these leads, they'll turn into money,
Right.
because then you'll just crank it up.
Yeah.
If you know you're consistently getting closings, every 22 leads I get one closing, or 33 leads that I get one closing. If you know that, your goal is to get 33 leads a day,
Yeah.
every single day. Let's first talk a little bit about the money. So I know that our goal is to build a significant net worth. How long do you want to work? When are you going to retire?
I mean, my goal right now is 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
I mean, I'll work longer than that. I want to be in a position, and that's kind of my BHAG, is that in 10 years, I'd love to be in a place of financial freedom, in the sense of I have enough passive income coming in per month that I want to continue to sell real estate. I think I'll continue to do that, and kind of maybe hone in more in those niche areas where I feel
Mm-hmm.
are giving the biggest return. But 10 years is kind of
I'll write down 10, as long as when I meet you in 2 years, you have to say 8.
okay.
Because everybody I meet says 10, and then in 5 years, they're like 8 to 10 years. 5 years later, 8 to 10 years. It seems like it's far enough out that it's achievable,
Yeah.
but it's not really putting your feet under the fire to,
It happens. I mean, in time,
Mhm.
it just goes so fast, right? So it's 10 years will be here before we know it.
How much do you need?
Need or want,
Yeah.
I mean, so I think
I would go with want.
Yeah.
Because that's probably more.
want. I mean, again, I'm a person, I write down my goals daily, and so I want to have it front of mind every morning, and so that's kind of one of my daily practices. But in my mind, and this may change over time, but for right now, it's from a passive income perspective, we can talk about how that gets there, but 100,000 a month is kind of my goal of where I want to be.
And
That-
passive revenue
Yeah.
or passive income.
Mhm,
Okay.
at that 10-year mark. And then, if it's more than that, then great. But
How about net worth?
I mean, the number that I have in my head is 5 to 6 million. That
Okay.
Maybe that's,
Okay.
too small. I don't know.
Very
But
good.
that's the number that I have in my head.
So Erin needs to get to $5 or $6 million in net worth. And when you break that down on a yearly basis for a real estate agent, that's actually very achievable over the course of 10 years. If you're trying to get to a significant net worth, so you can retire or at least slow down and not need to work for a living, $5-6 million in the bank is a great way to make that happen. What we have to do now is start to look at, how are we going to break that down on an annual basis? So for a real estate agent that leapfrogs into into production, it's much easier to get that going right now as opposed to slowly growing your business or getting a little better every year. You have to leapfrog into production so that you can get a good solid 10 years of big numbers to put away the kind of money she's talking about here. Well, and a lot of that's going to come down to how we handle money. Like, the agents that have gotten involved with us that were originally struggling, had a lot of credit card, medical bill, IRS, student loans, all of the things that everybody has. They weren't really handling their money the right way. And once we got that working right, you're saving money on interest and you're investing into stuff that's getting you 8-to-1 or 10-to-1 returns. A lot of the marketing you're doing there, if you can, let's take Facebook as an example. If you spend $1,000 on Facebook and you get a $10,000 closing, let's do that more. Let's do that as often as we can. So that's part of what we kind of look at. So tell me about kind of your current financials. I know you have a lot of cash and you have a lot of credit card debt. So we got to talk about that.
No,
That's a Susie
but
thing.
yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is.
Okay. So are you okay talking about some numbers on that?
Yeah. So
Okay.
how much of that goes public?
Uh-huh. But you have
Yeah.
money in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
but you have credit card debt as well.
And I have some cash, like my free, like liquid cash right now is not a lot, I would say.
Okay.
Like as of today, it's probably like for me to just go to the bank and say, here's a check would be like between 30 and 40,000.
30 and 40,000. Okay.
I mean, I have investments and retirement, like my IRA and as well as my investment accounts, which
Okay.
is, that number there. So, I had to tap into that a little bit when I started the business because, I had that 6 month like just love. And then like the first year I thought I was dying and I was like, it was really uncomfortable for me, to go from a place where you have that consistent income coming in, but it was limited, I mean, there was only so much I was going to make every year.
Yeah.
And so I knew that there was no long-term wealth building in that scenario. So why I made the jump, but at the same time, it's been really painful, especially when you're used to living a certain lifestyle and doing the things that you want to do and that sort of thing to have to like now you don't necessarily change your lifestyle when you make a change like this. So it's like I still had the same amount of expenses and didn't really pull back a lot, which because I was like, it's just gonna come. It's gonna start coming. And then when
We're very confident when we did our license. I have a license. Everybody's going to use it.
right.
Yeah.
So, and then when it wasn't coming as quickly, then I had to tap in. We had some other kind of personal things that came up that, were some big financial impacts. And so that put me back, like a lot of it went on the credit cards. And then just having to get out of that hole over the last few years has been,
Yeah.
it's just like, it feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of thing, because then I have that inconsistency that we talked about before where, I'll get a big closing and then I'll put a chunk toward and then I'll have like a month or two where like nothing was happening. And then, okay, well, then I got to tap into that cash again. So then I get into that place of that scarcity mindset of like, the cash must stay here in the account because who knows what
Emergency.
climate start drowning again and feel like I'm going to starve to death. So
Yeah.
that just has to stay there. So
And what's your credit card total about?
about 75 right
Okay.
now. Yeah. So, and that's my biggest goal right now is to get that cleared out as quickly as possible.
Okay. So a couple of questions on that. Are the credit cards up to date? They're not behind or
Yeah,
past due
no.
payments or anything like that? And you have available credit on them as well.
Right.
Every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we need to do today before lunch is take $30,000 out of the bank account and pay it on the credit card.
Really?
It's still available to you,
It is.
right?
And that leaves me with like 0 to.
Yeah, but if change the thought process. The money is still available. You already have that
Mm-hmm.
more than that available on the
Well, I'll tell you how crazy it sounds.
costing yourself
I'll,
money by not
I'll baby step you into this, and I'm getting ready to get rich off of this. Before lunch today, we'll take $30,000 out of the checking account and we'll pay it on your credit card. That's still available for you, but so that you feel better, I will write you a check for $30,000 that you can put in your bank account, and you got to pay me 20% a year on it because you're paying 30 right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to pay me 20% when you can have it by credit card. So why pay them 28 or 30% You see what I mean? So you don't need the money sitting there. You're literally paying, like right now, it's costing you $9,000 a year.
Yeah.
So if you look at it as your checking account, if it's, whatever bank it is, they're charging you $9,000 because the credit card is charging you $9,000 for you to keep that cash there.
Yeah.
So that's the way to look at it. And you don't have to do it today. How awesome would that be if you just took the plunge?
Yeah, I know.
But it is still available for you. You know what I mean? Like if you did that today, you could get a cash advance. You could pay. Is there anything that you would need cash for that you can't use a credit card? I mean, a bail bondsman will take a credit card. So even if you got arrested, we could use that,
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I mean, there's really nothing. Everything's digital now. We don't even use cash anymore. I can't remember the last time.
I mean, my kids will just start boop
Yeah, just
they
that.
on their phone,
Yeah.
So same.
Yeah, so like I say, I know and it's also a motherly thing. I see it a lot more with women that have recently raised kids because I got to have emergency funds, but you are okay. You have a pretty good net worth. You've got retirement you're working on. You're in good shape. What could come up that you would need more than $10,000 immediately?
That can't be paid
Yeah.
with the credit card anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you buy back your money by paying the debt down,
Yeah.
if something comes up, you can still do it. And it's like a personal story here is he knows I went through a divorce and same thing. I was just like, I need to have this much money.
You want money under that interest.
Student interest. Like I never could have the account dip below X because of just the situation there. And I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
And you can baby step it. So one thing we do with a lot of agents is you decide the cap that you're willing to have in cash. I'm willing to go to $10,000 in my bank account, but everything more than that, it goes to the credit card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go because what could we have happen today or on a weekend or on a holiday that would be more than $10,000 that you would need actual cash? You're not getting it on a holiday anyway from the bank, but you would use your credit card that day. But I would just say, I keep my $10,000 reserve. Eventually, we'll get it to five, but we'll keep our $10,000 reserve and everything else goes to this credit card because right now you're paying $800 to $1,000 a month. A mortgage payment on a small condo, you're paying to interest. So that's one big change I would make. Those credit cards are still available for you. It's not your money. You owe the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I would look at it is that 40 grand in the bank, it's owed. Why not go ahead and pay it? But we can borrow it again the very day we need it. You could go today and put a $35,000 vehicle on a credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a different suggestion if you didn't have money in the bank. If you were fully struggling and you were cash poor, well, then we can't make that same suggestion. So but
And I'm not a financial advisor, but friend to friend.
sure, please.
Yeah, friend to friend. I mean, it only makes sense to not pay them. And using that analogy of go ahead and pay them off, and then I'll loan you 30 grand at 20%. You'd be like, well, why would I do that?
Yeah.
I can just use the credit card when I need it.
Right.
And I would gladly do that, by the way. That's a real offer. I'm more than happy to take 20%.
10% on
Yeah, because I know you have assets that you're going to pay. You're not behind on payments. So, but you're paying 50% more than that. You're paying almost 30 probably, with today's interest rates. So that's something to look at. And then, really looking at those credit cards as a tool for investing in marketing, getting that promotion out there and beating obscurity so they know what your offers are. But the problem for real estate agents is our roller coaster of income. It's so few and far between. We always don't know where our next check is. So I want to hoard this.
Yep.
If you and I were driving down a desert road and we run out of gas, if we have one Snickers bar, we're literally not going to eat it because we don't know when we'll get to eat again. So we're going to, sparse this out.
near one. Yeah.
We're just thinking, should we hold on to, I don't want to drink all my water yet because I don't know when I'll have water again. It's the same way with money. And particularly as a 100% commission agent, you'll feel a lot better when you get the consistency that there's another check coming. Obviously, another solution once we get the business built enough is to pay yourself a salary. Have a business income. You pay yourself a salary. We do the 3 accounts, which you've learned in Inner Circle coaching there. We have an operating account, a personal account, and a tax account. So you can do split deposits when they come in. And if you're paying yourself a salary that, I'm making, even if it's 80 grand a year, whatever is your minimum you have to live, pay yourself that and then do the quarterly disbursements or whatever you decide to do with the extra. Right. That'll make you feel a lot better that you don't have to say, I need to keep the hoard. Yeah.
And honestly, the goal is to get to the zero debt because then the goal after that is now we're banking away to get your first 100,000 net in the bank.
Mhm.
So think about like the flip side of it. So once it's paid out, now you can bank away and do the payouts to yourself, feed the business with your operating bank account. You're still taking your salary, and now that 100 is just growing and it feeds it. But you got to wipe this out to feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And what I would do is give yourself a 6-week period that you'll have 0 credit card debt. Because if you pay off 30 or 40 grand and we get you 3 closings that
Done.
were extra
Then you
that
got-
you're not using, you put 100% of it to that, it's gone. You're 0 debt on credit cards.
And if you're a goal person, like you said, you and write everything down, you look at it, you just said earlier, I'm comfortable with that. Make 10,000 your cap. Write it down right now, just so you remember to add it to your list
Yep,
later.
I'm gonna write
And
it
then
down right
6
now.
weeks to do it, as far as getting everything paid.
Yep.
Because looking at that every day, like, you'll hold yourself more accountable to it.
Yep. I like
Yeah.
that. And I do have the free accounts and things already set up. So I did that after the last coaching retreat. I
Yeah.
did the one that, not this one, but the one before. So I've got the tax account set up. I've got the personal account and the business account. So things
Yeah.
ready to flow. I'm just waiting for the checks to come in.
Yeah. And part of the rescue here is, getting out of debt. You sleep better at night, you feel better, you can make better decisions financially, and you're very, very confident in your marketing that you're putting out. You don't have a problem taking a credit card and spending $4,000 on marketing if you know it's going to bring in 40 grand.
Right.
And then what you would do with that, is it going into a retirement account? Are you doing other investments? Obviously you've followed our inner circle coaching for a while. You're familiar with like building your own model at one of these new builds, and now you have a store that people are coming in and you can sell all the other lots and that type of thing. So there's a lot of stuff you can do, but we just gotta, I think credit card debt is definitely the root of all evil.
It
It's
is.
it's costing you $1,000 a month in interest, and we just don't sleep well. So
Yeah.
we'll get that part of it handled. And if we give ourselves 6 weeks, I would usually say 30 days, but if we pick up a lead today, it might take 6 weeks to get closed. You only need really 3 good closings and 30 or 40 grand out of your checking account. Now you have 0 debt on the credit card side. And then you can use credit cards for emergencies when you need them. If we give you this prescription today, and I'm going to give you a playbook of everything we want to put in place, but if I show you 7 things and it involves investing money in marketing, or it involves using credit cards, we'll get nervous because what's in the back of our mind, or that daily conversation, is the credit card debt.
Right.
And
Exactly.
like I say, that's totally normal. I think every household goes through that. It's just a matter of really deciding, if I do need a reserve in my bank account just to feel better, it's 5 grand or it's 10 grand, and 100% of the difference goes towards that credit card. And once you see those big chunks happening, it becomes your new goal.
Mhm.
You'll get a closing and you'll be like, can I take half of this to put towards this thing to make it go away? Because it's the best investment you'll have. I mean, you don't have an IRA or a Roth, a CD, nothing is giving you 25, 30%.
No.
So that's the best place to put the money,
Mhm.
So again, I think that's a good start for us here. That way, when we do get the playbook together, you know what you need to put in place and you feel very confident doing so. You're like, yeah, I have 0 credit card debt. So 4 grand, 5 grand is nothing,
Mhm.
so we can definitely do that. So anything else you wanted to cover on that side?
No, not on the financial side. I think, you have your goals. I was looking at, you said you had 12 land listings right now. So that's all with the new build. Before we bridge the gap, what other activity do you have? Is that everything right now?
No.
Or you have other listings?
Yes.
What's the whole thing look
I have a big like equestrian property right now, 2.2 million in Harford County as a listing. I have another one in Harford County that I'm about to go live with a colleague of mine at 7.5 million. It's a big one. And then I have a much smaller one down, just single family, small one. It's like at 390.
Okay.
And then those are my active listings right now, including and then the land listings.
Okay.
So
So the way we usually look at this is, if you've got, like, obviously I love horses and have a ton of horses, so I love the equestrian side.
Mhm.
If you have an equestrian property, you can get a lot more. But is that really in your long-term goal if you guys are trying to get to Baltimore?
yeah.
Because we want to
Yeah.
think about getting business where we want to be locally. Again, if we give ourselves a deadline, we want to be in Baltimore within 12 months or 18 months, the end of next year. Okay, well, we need to get business around there. I don't want you to move to Baltimore and have to drive up here every day,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And if we go where there's better business, more money, just more activity happening, there's probably less new builds there,
Yes.
right?
No.
So we got to do a little bit of a switch there. Probably less equestrian there.
Yep.
So we really need to think about lifestyle first, the quality of life you guys want to have, because the more you build a business up here, the harder it's going to be to move.
Yeah, that's what it's already starting to feel like a little.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, yeah, and we definitely don't want to be here long term.
Mhm.
So, um, so yeah, so that is something to consider.
Yeah, I would give yourself, any time within next year's calendar year, we're moving.
Hmm.
Whenever that becomes, let's get the business stable, let's get revenue there, but don't build a business that makes it harder for you to do that. I think that's a lot of people kind of paint themselves in a corner. If you're planning to relocate, let's relocate and then build there. And that's a much smarter move. I mean, you wouldn't, if you know you're selling this place next year, you wouldn't put on a big elaborate deck if you're not going to get the money back.
Right.
Well, the same's true for your business. Don't build the business around, this area. What do you think you would want to work around the Baltimore area? You said you would probably move to waterfront. Would you work waterfront? Is that a niche you'd like to work? Or
Yeah, definitely.
okay,
Yeah, there's a lot of down in downtown Baltimore. There's a lot of what it's mostly condos and some townhouses and that sort of thing.
okay,
But for sure, I think, and then kind of pushing out toward Baltimore County, which is again like when you're heading out this direction, it's kind of just the northern kind of fringe around that, which is it's just higher price points on the homes, and it's um not I don't know whether it's still there's just a lot there is a lot more competition though, from an agent perspective. So that's the nice thing about being up here where I feel like it's always competitive everywhere, but it's not quite as competitive as down there. So
Okay.
it's kind of like building that name and recognition for myself in that area feels like it'll not necessarily take I mean that's where I'm from. I'm from there. So
okay.
yes.
It'd be easier there than here, right?
Probably, yes, and
Yeah.
I know the area is a lot better even than I know up here. Dying up here, it's kinda funny we joke because 'cause I'm like, I put everything into the Google because 'cause I'm like, I think my mind is like, I do not wanna, like, commit to memory where things are and how to get there.
Yeah.
So, but there, like, I know the area really well,
Okay.
so
Okay. And just from a leverage perspective, I've had a lot of agents that are moving to another location or it's a little bit of a drive. You could do right now, Baltimore, your meetings are always Tuesday and Friday. So as an example, if someone calls you, hey, I want to know how much my home is worth. Oh, great. I'm actually going to be out there Friday. How's 3 o'clock work? Because number one, it's separated enough. If they call on Saturday, you have one coming up. If they call Wednesday, you have one coming up.
Mm.
But you can stay there Friday if you guys decide to hang out for a day or two, that type of thing, and just kind of get back into that groove.
Right.
So you may just choose 2 days if that's where I'm at. That came about where in our inner circle coaching, we have that FISBO approach. And I always say, you can go up to an hour away, but if you're driving an hour away and you got an appointment for 5 o'clock, why not call all of them while you're over there? Maybe you'll get two. Like, just have a little more leverage with making that trip. So if you kind of pile them all together, Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm in Baltimore. All the other days, I'm at this location.
Yeah.
Just like a dentist would do if they have two offices,
It all helps narrow down the decision making for the person you're talking to. So if you're like, the most popular question is, oh, well, when are you available to meet? And that's what you're asking them. And they're like, oh, well, let me look at this. Let me look at that. If you come back and say, I'm actually right in your area. I work at Tuesdays or Thursdays. I have 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in that window. Which day works better?
Yeah.
You've narrowed down that question to them. So it leaves them like more pigeonholed to have to answer you. And you get that booked versus I have to check my schedule and talk to the husband.
What's better for you, Tuesday or Friday? Yeah, so that makes it real easy
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good that's good for me too, just from a time blocking perspective of having it blocked out on my calendar. Because a lot of times then when people are asking when to meet, it's like, you're moving things around and you make concessions and, kind of feel like you're running all over the place.
Yeah, and it gives you the opportunity to lead the way that you need to
Right.
lead your business.
Yeah.
It's not them running you around. You're dictating what needs to happen.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Very good. So that's given us a little bit of direction on, first of all, location, location, location. How are we going to the right place? And then obviously what type of marketing we're doing there, what niches we want to work and that type of thing. Any other niches, types of people? I know I saw some stuff on baby boomers, price ranges, age brackets, any niches you'd like to work.
So I initiated the baby boomer campaign. So I went through that training and then I launched the baby boomer Facebook ad. And then I did like a postcard, like to 500. So to back up a little bit. So I bought a list from Exact Data that was I guess it's around like over almost 3,000 total. I think I put
Okay.
there. So 3,000 people. And then from that list, I used that as a, for the Greg Luther letter because I had a buyer that was really struggling to find a home for. So I was like, I used that as a pushed out and I basically sent to everybody on that list for
Okay.
that.
So you tried to blend a couple things. You used
Yeah.
the Greg Luther letter, I have a buyer looking in your area,
Mhm.
but you instead of sending it to an area, you sent it to baby boomers.
Well, then I took that list, then it could because it had the demographic information
Okay.
in it, then I sorted it by age group, so then I pulled all the baby boomers out of that list, which cut
Mhm.
that list down to, like, 1,100, 1,200. So I used that as my initial kinda test, um, marketing send for the boomers. So I did 500 postcards initially straight off, and I didn't get any response from those, and then when I was at the coaching retreat, they were saying the letter was doing so well, so then I switched because I was gonna should I order more postcards and keep sending those? So I switched to the letter. So I started sending those out since I've been back. Um, and I haven't gotten any responses from them. So, but um, I think the reason why I wanted to use that as one of my niches is because they all kind of feed together. At least what I found from new construction, the majority of my buyers were boomers.
Mhm.
So I was like, they're looking to downsize. So then, if I'm then also targeting the boomers, that can be a feeder into my new construction sales,
Yeah.
as well as other things that I'm doing. But that was kind of the thought process, at least that I had, of how to best utilize the data that I had.
So when you're sending, so take the Greg Luther letter out of it, because that's kind
Yeah, that was a set 200
different
name. Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
So to go to the boomers with that, it's
Yeah.
different.
No, that was
So the
yeah.
postcards, what are you? Is it the postcard about the report? Was it our
Yes.
system?
Yeah, it was the exact postcard.
Okay, so have you started doing anything in your experience? You said most of the boomers end up buying, like a lot of them are buying the new construction. Are you putting that in front of them too? Like make your lifestyle easier, your new home, no repairs, no fix. Are you putting that in front of the boomers as a greater talking point to get them over to new construction?
Not, um no, I have not kind of taken the new construction information and then pushed it to that boomer list.
Yeah.
So
So
not
you're
not
as you're finding the consistency of like a boomer buying new construction,
Mhm.
but we're not marketing new construction to the
To the boomer, right?
so
Yeah, yeah.
like let's put that together and make that happen. And it sounds funny after like it's like a light bulb, but oh, okay, like that makes sense. But you convoluted those two things. Let's just separate that out too.
Yeah.
So I think we just need a lot of like your marketing, like you have a lot of good things going, but we just need to make sure they're going to the right buckets of the right audience and ears.
Yeah.
Is the builder building one-story homes?
He can build anything, so it's 100% custom. So, but the majority of people, like I said, have been boomers and they're doing ranch
Branch.
Yeah.
homes and
Yeah, I mean, a very good niche if you needed to sell out the rest of those properties or whatever the case is, a very good niche to work would be uh, baby boomers that want a smaller lot, a smaller home, one-story home, brand new, 20-year warranty. It's going to last as long as they do, whatever the case is, 20, 30 years. But then also do additional videos on what their concerns are. We were talking about this the other day. Their number one concern is capital gains. If they sell that property right now, they have to pay capital gains. And in real estate, we never really think about that because we think, oh, it's your primary residence, 250 or 500,000 if you're married. But they have more than that. They have, that's the cap of 500,000. So after COVID, all of these baby boomers have tons of equity. So the number one reason they're not moving is they don't want to get $1 million and clear 600,
yeah.
or whatever that number becomes for them. So that's a big concern. So doing videos about that, having a QR code on your postcards and your mailers and your Facebook ads and all that, so, sending them to content where you interview tax attorneys, CPAs, how we would handle this, where they can make that move and not have to give all their money away. Because that's what's holding them up. This whole aging in place. Why would I ever sell? It made sense to them when their home was going up 100,000 a year. Now it's not. So, now they can sell the asset and move to something that's smarter for them. But there's going to be a big, big cost to sell that thing because what they've worked 30 years to have, now the IRS wants a big portion of it. There's a lot of equity there. So If you're going to position yourself with new builds to baby boomers, you got to really get their mental mindset where it needs to be. Not that, look how pretty this house is. It's all of the facets that go into it. You're going to be down to one living room. You got to sell half your stuff.
Yeah.
You got 17 years worth of clutter. We got to get rid of that stuff. I have an auction company that can do that. We have a junk out service. You don't have to worry about your husband pulling his back out with boxes. We've got someone that can do that. So those sorts of things are going to be the type of language you want to use in your marketing to mentally get them ready in the first place. And as they're binge watching your stuff, they fall in love with your service and what you do, and you become their realtor when the time's ready.
That being said, do you do videos now? He just gave me a bunch of things, and I was like, I didn't even ask.
And she said there, I'm not in the video.
I know, like, oh, next question's gonna be, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing with boomers too is like anybody likes to absorb educational content. So we definitely need to get you comfortable on camera. You definitely need to be putting it out there. If you are able to give, and you heard him say it a million times, the presentation ahead of time, and they're able to see all the valuable stuff, or even what he just said, the junk out services, you're teaching them like all of the things to help them get into another house and make them feel comfortable. Now, when you show up, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Because they've already kind of gotten comfortable with you. They've seen you, everything else. It's just like all the stuff we do. We'll meet somebody and they think they know us because they've seen YouTube videos of him. They've seen us here or there.
Right.
So we're doing 0 videos, 0 content. What does any of that look like right now? And it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, and
And to
yeah,
get to the meat.
I know this is definitely like an opportunity for me, for sure. I'm not doing any video, and I need to be. I know that.
So we have like a YouTube channel.
I know I have a YouTube channel.
Do you think you
Just
should be
not
on one video?
Traffic on it.
No, I am comfortable. Like I'm not.
You seem to be.
Yeah.
We're live now.
We're live. I'm comfortable. I've done a lot of video in the past and stuff, but for me, like putting myself out there, I think I'm just too probably critical of like, this is not gonna sound great, this is not gonna look great. It's like always like kind of like, oh no, I've got to make sure look XYZ before I film the video. And then I got to do it in this spot or that. And then I just don't do it at all.
Yeah,
So
it's overthinking. And the one advantage is this niche that you want to work is the least judgmental there are. They're worried about themselves. They're baby boomers.
Right.
They're not worried about someone that's young and pretty and perfect hair and great backdrop and the lighting is perfect. And, that's not them at all. They just want to be helped. They're way past that needing to be a certain person in life. They're happy, they're good. So you don't have to be too critical of yourself or your surroundings or video quality. Really, it's just like you're sitting with them face to face. Are you talking the language they want to hear?
Right.
So if you're helpful there, you're going to do well. So we're getting a pretty good idea of what we're trying to do. I mean, essentially what we're doing, the only thing we've done so far is taken all the money out of your bank account, moved you to another state,
Drained your bank.
got rid of all the stuff you have, But that's really what it takes. I mean, it's a massive transformation to get to where you want to go. It's one thing to say, I want to do this or this is my dream, but are we actually going to take action? So giving ourselves a deadline, this is when it's going to happen, and then doing everything that needs to line up in order to make it happen is really the goal here. So it sounds like at this point, if we were to wave a magic wand, we live in Baltimore near the downtown area on the water. We work waterfront properties. We're doing condos. We're working baby boomers that might want to downsize, move to one-story new construction. That would be worth coming up here if you have to, or wherever you have them go. And frankly, a lot of them do, if they live in Baltimore, they may want to get away from the hustle and bustle, get out a little ways, get lower tax basis, lower cost, that type of thing.
And that was a big reason we were seeing people moving from Maryland to Pennsylvania was because, especially in the baby boomer demographic, was because their IRA distributions are not taxed in Pennsylvania.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother content piece.
Yeah.
That's your next
A
video.
lot of them don't know that. So it's, that
So IRA
Go.
contributions.
non-taxed in PA.
And again, of course, we're not going to give financial or tax advice, but we're going to interview someone that does know that stuff. That's a great, it's real easy for you to be on video if you're just interviewing someone. Like if I were talking directly to a camera right now, that's much different than you and I just chatting. So if you get a CPA, a tax attorney, somebody that can talk about those benefits and then talk about, weave that into your pitch of new construction, have something that's brand new, low maintenance outside, even a fee simple condo or, whatever the case is, that would make sense for them. that is a content piece they'd love to read. They'll share it with their other friends in that baby boomer generation, and you can start to get a lot more play on helping them with everything other than what most realtors say. If you like to downsize, call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what most do. I'm a great realtor. I'm with a fast growing company. If you'd like to downsize, call me. You can do a lot more to get them mentally where they need to be because they're going to be on a fixed income. They're definitely going to be on a fixed income, so that IRA contribution and that type of thing, all of those things will matter.
Do you have so that's like what he was just saying. Do you have other leaders that you feel would be a good content piece? So
Yeah.
talking to a tax person, talking to somebody else that parlays in the real estate world that you're bringing the educational content, something we recently talked about in actually one of our other meetings, but we just did it on, I think, the Inner Circle call too.
Yeah.
Just who are the players, who are your affiliates? So anybody that you already work hand in hand with, that's a content piece so that you're just that way you're not overthinking video.
Yeah.
Like it makes it easier because it knows it's the exact topic what you could talk about.
Yeah, I definitely have those contacts.
Okay.
So that wouldn't be and that's an easy, I think,
Yeah.
uh,
Good.
first step in the video space, like you said, is to do more interviewing versus me trying to, because I guess, it's kind of like a little bit of that imposter syndrome sometimes where you're like, I've only been in real estate for 2.5 years full time. Like for me to be the accessible expert in this space is, yeah, I've learned a ton. I know there's still a ton that I continue to learn, but a lot of everything I did in my career up to this point is very transferable. But also, so I think that's part of it, right? Is the uneasiness about video sometimes is like, are people going to believe me? She's the fitness girl.
But look at it this way. I mean, I've been doing this real estate business 26 years. I believe there's no way to check this. I believe I've created more multimillionaires in real estate sales than any other coach in history because we've documented dozens and dozens of them. Every day, there's thousands of people that don't believe me, think I'm full of it, think I'm not qualified, have hater comments, all that stuff. Who cares? It's not your customer.
Right.
You know what I mean? I get to help more people and get their business and their family where they want it to be. And they get to give to charities and retire their parents and do all of those fun things that we love to do. Who cares about what the others do? So when you're out in public, you're going to have that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, anything you do to go public, if you stand out, some people are going to love you and some people are going to hate you.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
That's probably the best case scenario, right?
yeah.
People are paying attention.
You want to be polarizing. I always use the examples of Eminem or Lady Gaga or whatever. If you do things that some people love you and some people hate you, as they say, you have to get 50% of the world to hate you if you want to become the president.
Yeah.
That's what every president in the world's ever had. At 50, 55, whatever it is, if half the people hate you, half the people love you. But what you don't want to do is be obscure where nobody even knows who you are. Who's that guy running for office? Is he a governor? Nobody even knows who you are. So, I think that's really what you want to do is kind of look at who you want to talk to and then just project help for them. Whether you're interviewing someone else, you're providing your own thoughts on this, that type of thing. It's someone's going to enjoy watching your content and want to get more from you. You'll see them asking questions in the comments as well. So that's helpful too. Okay, so what do you have next here? I know we've got a lot we want to cover. We talked about baby boomers, new construction. How about the foundational model approach with Inner Circle Coaching? You've got FSBOs, expireds, divorce attorneys, probate attorneys. What all are you working that way for consistent appointments?
Honestly, I haven't been doing anything up until the last month or within those,
Okay.
and that's just being straight up.
What desperation caused you to decide to do that in the last month?
When I had no closings in June, and I was like, I have to get more consistency in and I know this intuitively, right? Is like, of course, I need to have more consistency of like all the different price points of all the different coming from all the different areas of different opportunities. If I want to have that consistency in my business, so I got to start doing the things consistently.
Yeah.
Um, so I started working FSBOs again. That was like my first one that I started working, and I just started a new text campaign, and I send out 10 texts, and I get 5 responses back. So I was like getting great responses back of people saying, yeah. So I had the first week I did it, I had 5 appointments. The next week I had 5 more. So I mean, it's
Look at
this. Those aren't converting yet, and that's the other thing too. Is like I feel like that's probably also where I need to take a closer look to is like why why aren't some of those more of those converting? Granted, I just started, right? So I would expect if I met with 5 people, like one of them would convert.
So what's the text message say?
So the
Yes,
text,
there was
Well, it doesn't matter if you get an appointment.
no, but I'm
Yeah.
just curious because then she gets the appointment. Then when you get in the door, is there a Leah's message or how is that then being handled?
yeah,
So walk us through what's happening.
yeah, your text message is basically, I have a cash buy, I have a buyer that's interested in your property. So I have a service um, that a platform that I pay for, which is called iList. And so basically, if you put in your property address, it's going to give you, you know, 5 different cash offer opportunities, like if they wanted to take advantage of that. Plus, it shows them what their valuation is across like 4 different.
And you've got my cash offer program too,
Yeah.
if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, and I want to add that into the mix too. So then, so that is like legitimately, I have a cash buyer that'll buy your house. So that gets me through the door, but also, um, then talking to them, I include when I send those cash offers to them, include what their like on market return would look like as well if they were listing it on the market, what that would look like, and then, um. So that's the initial conversation, which the meetings have all gone great and it's been great feedback, but they're like, well, we're still going to like keep trying it on our own for a while. And so I've continued to follow up. And, but again, this has only been in the last few weeks. So it's
Yeah.
hard. Um,
So they're going to come, if they don't sell, they're going to list. I mean, that's ultimately what
Right.
happens. So you're doing the right thing, Stanley.
so the next piece of this, which I just ordered the, shock and awe, package so that they're actually arriving on Tuesday. So I got the boxes and I got the um, actual package itself. So I'm going to start sending that as the follow up immediately after the meeting, as part of the follow up as well. So because it's clearly working from the standpoint of just in a couple weeks of doing it, but from a foundational perspective, that's what I've been doing. So I haven't been doing a lot in expireds or FISBOs until now, and then what was the other one?
Divorce attorneys, probate
Yeah,
attorneys.
I did a little bit of that in the beginning, but I have not, again, from consistency, I haven't been consistently doing that either.
The good news, divorces are up.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly, definitely. But, unfortunately, we only get paid. People have a housing need change when they have a life change.
Yeah.
So if someone gets married or divorced, those are 2 good opportunities. If someone is born or someone dies, someone gets a promotion or they get laid off, those are the life changes that create a housing need change. And the attorney is the first person that goes to, particularly divorce or probate. They're the ones advising them on here's what you need to do next. So getting them can be good for you. But the FISBO approach of 5 appointments a week with people that are actively trying to sell their home, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's just getting a real strong close, having a good follow-up campaign for those that aren't ready right now. So you are creating that relationship until the time comes. What you don't want to do is just call them to check in.
Yeah.
Hey, just want to see how things are going. That doesn't really work well. It's got to be giving tons of value, definitely putting them on their list for just sold, showing that you're out there doing it, the evidence of success.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to matter too.
And are you asking for permission to market their home? So regardless of getting the listing, you hopefully get it later, but are you saying, okay, well, if I brought you a buyer, you'd be willing to pay a compensation? Are you having that conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, because then if you start marketing that house and you get permission to market,
Mm-hmm.
let's bring your marketing full circle. So now you met with the FISBO, they weren't ready to list. You get permission to market. You start putting their house, following what we teach for the perfect home finder approach,
Mm-hmm.
put their house on Facebook Marketplace, put their house on Craigslist, start doing content about that house. Now we're generating more buyers. You generate 10 buyers.
Yep.
Only one can buy that house. Now we have 9 other buyers that we can go mail the Greg Luther letter for and find those areas to then go find sellers. So like you see this the wheel and the cycle. So make sure when you're doing that it's not just the end game in mind of I didn't get the listing, I didn't win.
Right.
How else can we make those appointments where we felt like we didn't convert them, but we just turned it into all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that kind of gives us a good outline as to where we are. How do you feel about advertising cost in general? Are you comfortable investing money in marketing? Are you trying to do it with zero? Where do you stand with all that?
I'm comfortable with it. I mean, um, like I know that I should be doing more for
Mhm.
sure. But so yeah, I'm comfortable with it. That's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get your message out there, I mean, like calling the FISBOs or texting the FISBOs, to text 10 and get 5 appointments, that is huge. Most people won't even believe that's real.
Yeah.
They're all, if you said that publicly, they wouldn't believe it.
In 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we said that on one of our coaching calls, they'd be like, "Prove it," and we here's
We do it all.
do it all the time.
It's good scripts. It's
Yeah.
good approach. It works. Yep. So doing that, and this will all kind of go into the playbook, but you do want to start working with attorneys as well. That's a great way to get into the Baltimore area. If we get some of the Maryland licensed attorneys in family law that are working divorce and that type of thing, you can also get into probate, estate sales, that type of stuff.
Add that to your content list to interview the pro
Mm-hmm.
on, a life change and what that means. And now you're building a reciprocal relationship on that. So it's always about the exchange of business. So when you get in with an attorney, it's because I'm going to be sending you are my trusted attorney. So anybody who needs stuff, they're coming your way and they send you back the business. So that's something that you work into that whole thing, but doing the interview with them as another leader in the industry.
So the best attorney for you to interview is going to be whoever's the most famous, whoever's the biggest. So if you're going to an attorney, you don't want to go to the little guy that's only got 5 followers. You want to find the Justin Timberlake. You want to find the, Jay-Z, somebody like that, because they have so many followers. Because now, if you're going to a Mercedes dealership that's selling luxury cars, we want the big Mercedes dealership because their people will see it. They're going to see you. They're going to learn that you're in real estate. People that are checking them out online, they will come across your video. So you're just trying to get everybody together. The reason in the music industry, the reason they do those collaborations is because they're taking your entire fan base and your entire fan base. If it's a rapper and Willie Nelson, they're going to have a huge, you know what I mean? That's why they're blending these things. They're going over the country. That's why they're doing that, because you get a lot more followers that way. So from a marketing perspective, you can build your base much bigger. So when we go to a Mercedes dealership, when we go to a CPA, when we go to an attorney, who's the big one that people are Googling, that they're checking out, that they already have a big database? Because you're going to pick up people that then know who you are as a realtor just from interviewing them. But you've got to get your video side down. I mean, that's what beats obscurity right now. I've always given the example, our entire lives, we've thought we need to go meet someone to give them their presentation, about what you can do for them. You're much better off to give them the presentation so they'll want to meet you. So if you've got it online and they can see that presentation, now they're pre-sold on this is my person, and they call you out. Really, it's a come list me. So give the presentation first. They'll then meet with you instead of calling people saying, when can I meet with you, to show them how good you are.
Right.
Now, this is a big change in the real estate world. It used to be that you would meet people to give them a presentation and show them how good you are at real estate sales. Nowadays, you have to give them the presentation first before they'd agree to meet with you. Everything is available online. And if you're still using that old school approach where you're trying to get buyers or sellers to meet you in person so you can give them a presentation, you already know it's falling by the wayside. You're starting to think those buyers or sellers aren't motivated. If they were serious, they'd be willing to meet with me. That's not the case. Everything is available on the internet now. So the best thing for you to do is, instead of trying to meet them to build value, you need to build value so they'll be willing to meet you. Completely different approach. And real estate has certainly switched to that. Much like most industries have, you have to put your best foot forward. And if they like what they see, then they're willing to meet you. That's exactly what we're doing here with Aaron today.
So what other socials do you have? Everything is YouTube, Facebook right now? Or is there any other stuff out there?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then Google My Business I have set up.
I was just checking you out on Google here. Did you know there's another Aaron Kelly that sells Maryland and PA?
Yes.
Yeah, that her.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Frederick County, she's listed as. So obviously you want to keep that in mind. But I was just looking through. I just looked up Aaron Kelly Realtor. It goes straight to Sotheby's. Then it goes to Zillow. Next one down, Realtor.com. So they're all taking your leads and giving them to other realtors. If I check you out right now, I can click on any of these. You will not get those leads.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Then it goes to EXP. Then it goes to Realtor.com again. Then it goes to Realtor.com. Then it goes to the other Aaron Kelly's Facebook. Realtor.com again, Zillow again. So the entire first page, if I look you up, there's no way for me to get in touch with you. I'm going to be sold to someone else.
Even though the Sotheby's one won't take you to me, since that's my brokerage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if I click on Sotheby's, let's see if that'll go to you. So is this your page?
Yeah.
Yep. So that'll get to your page there. So that one will get to you. Do you get the leads from this, or does it go to corporate?
They come to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't sound real
I
confident.
was gonna say,
Yeah,
please.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Well, that obviously means you're not getting any.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know what I
they'll
mean?
forward me leads that I'll get for specific to my listings.
Mm.
So yeah, they will forward them to me. They go to Sotheby's first.
Is that your number?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. Text, that's your number?
Yep.
Okay. Good. And email, it hides your email address. It's going directly to them with
Okay.
email. So I'll test that and see if that works. But yeah, just doing, some reverse prospect. I mean, one thing we've done a lot with agents is show them, like, here's what happens when we fill out your form. And they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. That's going to my old email address. And we'll go look at it and they have 170 leads. So just going through the client's journey and seeing what they get.
Reverse engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prospecting.
Yeah, reverse engineering.
Yeah.
But as I start filling this out here, it says I'm contacting a realtor in Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So that's where my office is.
Yeah. So, and you don't really want it to go to the company website anyway. You want it to go to your own stuff, even if it's on the social side. So we'll see if you get that message. I just filled it out on the website there. So that's the corporate website. But those are the types of things that can very easily be fixed, because for a lot of agents, when they Google themselves and they're like, oh, here I am on Zillow. Well, you're never getting that lead. Here I am on realtor.com. You're not getting that. It's going to someone else. They're using your name to swipe all of that data.
Yeah. As soon as somebody else puts another keyword in there paired with your name, it's going to pop up all your stuff. And then they get distracted and they go down a rabbit hole and you're never to be found again.
Right.
So,
Yep. Easy fix.
Okay.
So good. We can put all of that into the playbook to make sure you are doing the right things here.
and the other part of the foundational, you said you just started an the expired text campaign.
Yeah. So the same sort of strategy with the FSBOs from the text. I have a buyer, etc. I just started with the expireds back again, but I haven't gotten any responses yet. But it was like literally I hardly sent any. So I've been more focused on the FSBOs. I've had good success with that in the past. So I'm like, I feel comfortable there. A lot of people don't feel comfortable with for sale by owners, it seems like, but
Mm-hmm. Well, it
I feel
puts
like
you on
I
that front
get
line.
hammered.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like when I kind of use my
Well, FSBOs get hammered too.
Yeah.
yeah, they do.
It's going to get worse, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason it's scary is because it's putting you on the front lines
Mhm.
with people that do want to sell. So you're right there that this thing's going to happen. The scariest thing in the world for a salesperson is that someone says yes, because they're so addicted to no, 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 no. When you get front lines, that's scary. But you also know they want to sell their home and they don't want to pay you.
Mhm.
So now you feel a little more insecure about trying to get a commission, trying to get the listing, that type of
Mhm.
thing. So it is scary for people.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're willing to mail or they're willing to text. They're not willing to meet that client personally or call them or whatever the case is, because it could be confrontational,
Mhm.
which for me, I love, if you've seen that section I have on the coaching retreat for being in the pocket, just sitting there as long as you can, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, knowing you're going the right way and you're leading this the right way, you're going to get the deal. So keep doing that, and we can build out a much more consistent follow-up campaign and evidence of success, getting them your shock and all package, that type of thing. You're working on that now, or you've got it coming soon?
Yeah, it should be delivered actually by Tuesday.
Okay.
So
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so there's there's letters on the member site that you can use for the expireds that kind of get them thinking in a different direction as well, and then pairing it with a shock and awe. And we talked about this on the coaching call, like find out when do they expire or cancel, and try to get it there that day,
yeah.
because then it's not predatory against that other agent anymore. It's been released, so get it to them as soon as possible with everything, so that they're really angry about their past agent, and now you've just wowed them with what you can do, and you get a quicker in.
What do you think you're most excited about if you fast forward to where you're doing 8 to 10 deals a month? Would you rather, this is totally hypothetical, would you rather be in the field working with those clients or handling the marketing side of getting clients and being basically out of production and just making all the money?
Out of production and making all the money.
You would. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, I like the face to face. I like going on the appointments, um, but I'm also, I guess, if you like, kind of like pull it up a little bit higher. I don't. I want to get to the point where I'm not doing all the doing all the time.
yeah.
And if there's an opportunity to like, because in my past lives of work was creating teams that then do a lot of the doing. I'm doing the really big stuff, but I'm not doing all the minutia small stuff around it, but I'm still benefiting from the minutia small stuff around it.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the ideal scenario for
Yeah, I mean, you got to begin with the end in mind.
yeah.
And contrary to popular belief, you're not going to do a better job out there with like, what percentage of, other than the homes you've sold, what percentage of homes got sold without you?
Yeah.
All of them.
Right.
So whoever they worked with, like the deals are going to get done. But, if you become the marketing specialist and you get really good at that side, which is what I did, I took myself out of production, started focusing just on marketing side. You get a lot more leverage that way. You got to get them trained up really good, whoever you're sending out on the appointments. They will get a lesser result than you. If you list 9 of every 10, they're only going to list 7 or 8 of every 10. That's fine if you scale it up accordingly and keep working on them and make sure they get the people that represent the same values as you and that type of thing. But when you become the marketing director, we've talked a lot about a lot of agents who want to stay in production will provide like a CMO service for them. We'll do the marketing side. But that's where the money's at. So if you get focused on that side, down the road, once you have enough production there and you have someone else going on those appointments, you'll absolutely explode your income. Your sole focus is tracking results. What kind of leads am I getting? Should I follow up with these people better? You never have to worry about an inspection negotiation. You know what I mean? They're doing that. You don't have to worry about why can't the appraiser get in the house or when do I have closing. You're just focusing on getting lots of appointments and, sending the best agents out there. So,
I would love to get to that point.
okay.
So that
And that's nearly residual because you don't have to leave the house. You can get dressed
Just like-
here up,
Yeah.
and do video. And
But you said like your goal 10 years was not necessarily to be done with it, but 10 years where maybe there's that shift. So maybe we make that happen quicker than 10 years to get a person, but it's first about getting like all of your systems and processes in place, you getting comfortable with that, you becoming the expert on it, because when you teach somebody else, then they can become the expert. So you get the people side of your business last in this scenario. Some people want to hire all these people on the front end. No, that's not the case here. You need to build the cake a little differently, and then people come last, and then that gets you closer to where you're breathing in that 10-year mark. And now you're still making money after 10 years because you have a team after, but you have to become the expert of all of this first and clean yourself up before you could teach it.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me being in real estate for the last couple of years is that it's almost like so many people are successful by accident. It's like they don't have any systems. They don't have any marketing. Oh, there's no sales and marketing systems that sit behind the business and their success, which I'm like, okay, there is part of that code that can be cracked. That obviously, to your point that you did it, is getting to that point, like it actually is a business, and that's just been really. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was surprised. I was like,
yeah.
most of them just solely rely on, I think you mentioned it yesterday on the call, like they're just solely relying on the length of time that they've been doing this, which is like 30 or 40 years. And that's how they're surviving is from the referral.
Your sphere has gotten big slowly,
Right.
and you need to get your sphere big quickly.
Yeah, like I don't want to wait. I can't wait 30 years. Right.
You want to have
So-
the benefits of a 75-year-old realtor now.
Yes.
That they've built that over 20, 30 years. Can we do that in 20 weeks? And really have that benefit that everybody in town knows who they are. And you know how that happens. That happens through video.
Yeah.
That happens through marketing, and types of things. And also strategically designed video. You've got to have a good grabber at the beginning. You've got to have good content that keeps them engaged with what you're talking about. You have to have a good call to action at the end. You got to remember to have them subscribe and like and share and that type of stuff. So strategically designing at least some of your core products for their initial consumption of your info will get them to love you, and then they'll just watch you when you're at the park talking about something funny, if you wanted to go that route. But that's really the goal, is to you were talking about even some younger folks, it just naturally comes to them and they're closing deals, and you're like, they don't really have a big system, they have a big sphere. They're the social butterfly. They had a huge fan base, whatever. They have done that organically
Yeah.
rather than strategically. It's just kind of happened. So it is. I've always said fame is manufactured in America. If you manufacture that, we could move you to Orlando and make you a top producer in 90 days, but we have to manufacture that. Yeah, you got to get known there. So very easy to do it in Baltimore for sure.
I was looking to see what, because you had a note in here about your database size.
Video is everything right now, and you have to put your information out there. Doesn't matter what you look like, and as a matter of fact, you're better off to just be authentic and be real. There's no such thing as the camera makes me look old or fat. Nope, you might actually be old and fat. Who cares? Let's be rich as well. So get over it. That's what you're going to look like when you get there. You just don't like to hear yourself. You don't like to see yourself, that type of thing. But guess what? The general public does, and it gives you a chance to show that you know your stuff. So the better you get at marketing and doing video content, the better you're going to do at setting appointments.
So these are just, your typical just sold, just listed postcards, and these are all of my properties that I've had over the last
Okay.
12 months, we'll say.
Okay.
Um, and these are created by the marketing team at my brokerage. We do have an in-house marketing team, so they're open to creating things for me. The thing that I'm kind of running into a little bit is because with Sotheby's being the luxury brand that it is, they're particular, about what they want things to look and feel like. And so, like as an example, I sent out the Greg Luther letter, and that was, um, but it was branded. It was branded with Miami Sotheby's, the whole thing, and on the letter itself. But the envelopes, I did handwritten envelopes, no return addresses, that sort of thing. So, and it wasn't really any consumers that directly contacted the broker.
Of course, it's realtors that are complaining.
Right. And they're,
And their problem was literally the envelope.
yeah.
You did everything right on the marketing, but they didn't like the
Yeah.
style
They're
or
like,
the
you
envelope.
should get the linen envelope from Mighty and Sotheby's. You have a better chance than them to like call you back because presenting it from that standpoint. I could see both sides of it at the same time. I'm like, I want them to open it and wonder what's inside of it.
Yeah.
But their point was that the envelope doesn't match the inside, so that was an issue. But so that's those, and then this. So I have done. This is the copy of the Greg Luther letter that I did for some buyers that I'm working with in a specific neighborhood. Yeah, I know you want that at the bottom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely wrong. Yeah.
But so talk about that. 'Cause, I mean, this is a freak out for me and him, but are you in trouble if you don't put this at the top? Are you?
Well, you have it here.
You have it here. Even if you were to take the same exact branding and just move it as a footer, so it's not glaring, that way this can be, because right now the instant is this is a salesperson
Mm-hmm.
and they're not reading it as you're talking to the neighbor. So the eyes don't see, they naturally are not going to look at the bottom first. They see the top, that's glaring. So if you got permission to say, hey, like I'm trying to,
Well, you don't necessarily have to get
move it down.
permission.
Well, depending on
The-
how hard
yeah.
or how hard
So
cracking down.
the one thing we have to make sure of is obviously we're following all laws and all rules and that type of thing. Now, branding purposes, your company may want it a certain way. They got to decide how important it is to keep you around because your goal is to sell a lot of houses and help people. And if they need a logo on there in lieu of just the brokerage name, is it really worth us doing that? Or are we trying to get rich? We're trying to help a lot of families. So, we always want to stay legal, moral, and ethical. And the rule is you have to have your brokerage name on there. The brokerage name has to be larger or more prominent than your name. All of those rules, but there's nothing that says you have to have this color, this logo. That's all a branding identity by your brokerage.
Right.
I'm not saying to break their rules or guidelines, but for me, I'm never going to let a brokerage stand in the way of an agent getting rich. If you take that logo off of there, you still have all your stuff to be legit, but you will get a lot more response from it. If you send those out like that, you're probably not going to get any response. Did you get any response from sending those?
I got one from that. That was a very small subset that I sent because they only wanted specific streets for that one. But the big push that I did to the full list that I bought, so it's just over 2,000. I had 10 people reach out that I actually had appointments with.
Mhm.
So
Not bad. And there's a big list, but still, I mean, 10 is good.
yeah, so that was a pretty good response. But yeah, so
Okay.
But open to
Yeah, I would see what they say. I mean, I would consider moving it, and honestly, there's going to be an objection. They're going to say, "Well, we want to brand this and that."
If you
Like,
do have to
yeah,
put it in, you can put it in down at the bottom.
yeah,
My preference would be not to have it at all, but if you put it in at
yeah.
the bottom, that's better.
But as the path of compromise, ask to go to move it to the bottom, but then also tell them like, why don't we just test it my way? It's at the bottom. If I make you guys more money because of this, do you really care where
Yeah.
it's on the letters?
Yeah.
You know,
Why does
like,
the logo need
why
to be
does
in
this matter?
position?
And the same thing with this. Like, this
Yeah.
is an awesome letter when it's used. Have you thought about downsizing? But again, this is what they're seeing instantly.
Yeah.
They're not even reading an amazing call out to what this letter is about, you know, or what this piece is about. So
Right.
I would see about moving that again to the bottom. And you've heard him say, like, you rather be right or rather be rich. So who's in charge at Sotheby's? Like, do you want to be right because your logo's at the top, or would you rather have more money coming into your brokerage and be rich?
And in Maryland, you don't have to have the office address, right?
No. You just have to have the office phone number.
Yeah. So the problem is like, so this is a just sold for Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and it came to me from a Maryland agent.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as far as their return address, then should I put my P.O. box return address in
You
Pennsylvania?
don't need a return address. Why do you want it back?
Okay.
If it's vacant, do you really want it back?
Look-
Like a return address is literally used so that if it's vacant, you get the thing back. What do you do with it when you get it?
They put it
Yeah.
It might be requiring it though, because it's going first class
Mhm.
in this instance.
And yeah, you could put your own P.O. box if you need to. If you're going first class, I wouldn't be doing first class. Bulk rate would be better. But again, and that's getting into some of the nuances with it. But another thing to think about is what are we selling on these here? What are we trying to get them to buy? They can't buy this.
No.
It's already sold. They can't buy this.
Yeah.
It's already sold. Why do we have the pictures of what is no longer available so big? It's because it's their templates,
Mhm.
right? But what we want to do is offer that we can help someone else. We had 5 offers on this home. They're still looking in your area if you've considered selling. So minimize this where you have more room, more real estate for your own offer. You see what I mean? Because it's really wasting space to show beautiful interior and exterior photos of something they can't even buy. So, you know, it's just, we want to use this as the carrying agent, have a little bitty square photo up here that you just sold that house, but then have all the other data because this is an evidence of success piece.
Yep.
Now, when it's a just listed, we are trying to sell the thing. We want to show interior, exterior. Here's the kitchen. Here's the pool. But when it's a just sold, use that as a carrying agent for your real offer of you being able to help them.
Is this so? This is just me, my brain, how it works though. But this quote, whose quote is that? Is that Hudson Talk? Is Lord of quote?
No, she might have somebody's quote.
Right. So I mean, I'm not trying to like poop on their parade here, but like, who speaks like this? It doesn't even make sense when you read this whole thing. You're like, I don't even know what I read. This should be a giant call to action about ask me about other homes I have available, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or are you looking to sell? I could sell yours for just as quick and top dollar, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So the just solds need to have definitely a strong call to action, pairing services, pairing offers, adding some of the listeds, but remove the lingo that nobody speaks like this. It literally, it sounds weird. You
Right.
can't even read this. I want to read it out loud, but I don't want to flub saying it because it sounds
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah.
It's not your personal quote. It's not something somebody has, you know, he's known as the no BS coach. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
been created for a reason. This is just
And this is going to an outside company.
Yeah, that goes
iList
to the
check.
iList, and then where they can put in to get their free home value report. Free,
And you do get that
you
lead.
get that lead.
Okay. Very good.
So this whole thing is about just sold with a tiny call to action about call today to claim your lot before it's too late. You need to make the lot stronger presence and the availability versus the just sold.
Right.
So what does the lot look like? Because right now everything's about the just sold.
Right.
So what about the lot? Where's the little aerial map with like the circle of like this lot's available? You too can build here, you know, single story, double story, 2-story, all welcome, whatever it might be, but get them enticed about what's still available,
Mhm.
you know? So lean on the success, but you have to get a greater play on the offers and availability.
Try something here.
Which one?
So call the number on the postcard.
It'll be my own mess.
Which are you both?
This one, this one.
The office one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all over.
Because you're supposed to somebody at the office.
For calling the Office of Monuments of the International Real.
Hey, you got the recorder.
She don't want to sell a house.
That's right.
This is work day, the middle of the day.
Right, and no one answers the phone.
Yep.
Mm.
Yes, but that's what the point being. I would rather not have their phone number on there. If I do, it's going to be down here. It's going to be very small. There's no rule about a phone number being bigger than a phone number or whatever. But that's on there twice. Your cell phone's on here once. You know, I would make that bigger. But again, this is them doing it in their templates. So you got to be able to have your own, you know, be able to do your own thing here.
What does this vice president call out?
Now, most agents don't take the time to go through what we call the customer's journey. I want you to look at that postcard or that website or that ad that you have, the sales letter that you're sending out. Go through their journey. You make that phone call. You email that person. Does it go to you? In many cases, we found that that phone number is going to an office number that's not answered or is answered by somebody that's not qualified. There's a lot of issues that can come into play. It may be going to an old email address that you have. You have to take that customer's journey to see if you can find any places that there's friction. The fact is, if there's any friction whatsoever, if they have to leave a voicemail, if it's an unqualified person that answers the phone, there's a really good chance they're going to hang up and you're going to lose that client. So moral of the story, you want to be taking the client's journey or prospect's journey with any of the marketing you're putting in place to make sure everything is running smoothly.
So that's at Monument Sotheby's, when you do 6 million in sales, then you get a vice president title at Monument Sotheby's.
So they just called the vice president and nobody answered at their office.
Right.
Is my thought, right?
Yeah.
So
You're the assistant to the vice president, not the assistant vice president. You're the assistant.
Jacob doesn't have Southern cancer, you know, and then also their call, if they were to call the office, there's no branding to you and even leaving a voicemail. It's a generic leave us a message. So definitely find out about the office phone number situation. And I mean, I know how you feel about titles and everything else.
Yeah, it's okay.
You know, vice president, but like real estate specialist, something, you know, vice president of what?
Well, here, you know, she just
Yeah.
got this recently because
Right.
it was just realtor. Right.
That's what I mean.
What
So,
you said,
but you have now this one says global real estate specialist. Like,
It was older, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we need to like call you something and stick with it.
Mm.
And then that way you're building that consistency because that's going to be in the footer of all the new videos you're going to be doing in your descriptions and on your YouTube channel. So you want to make sure that if you're sending stuff, you have cohesiveness in every piece.
What do you think it should be?
The no BS. Obviously, we would think about structure and what we're trying to convey to the prospect that you're most desirable.
Mhm.
You know, your most desirable prospect would be looking for. So I wouldn't do it off the cuff. I would really kind of think through that. Not that you need a tagline or a catchphrase or anything like that, but just so you have some consistency in your marketing is really why you're trying to do that. You want to think about the skin. You would have the header on your YouTube page, on your Facebook page. You know, you want all of that to have the same type of information there.
Yeah.
I really think showing the target marketing side that you can help them to sell for more money to help their needs rather than your own,
Mm.
that's going to work better. It's not an ego push. It's how you're going to help them.
Okay.
You know, but like I say, just looking at following that path. Oh my gosh, this is great. I want to call this realtor and nobody answers the phone in the middle of the day. Not my realtor. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where you stand into the
That went to the other. Yep.
free home value. Yeah.
So that's I've been doing the monthly newsletter since I started with you, and I like consistently get good feedback on it, and
Awesome.
people always comment, "Oh, I get your newsletter every month," and
Yeah.
they-
Yeah, we hear that a lot. I mean, we provide that for the agents, obviously, so that you are in front of them. This is going to your, what is it, 150?
yeah.
150 or so people.
Mm.
Very good.
So I think that could be obviously something that I could do more from a I haven't done like own the neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
exercise, so something like that where it's going out in more mass.
Mm-hmm.
And are you getting these and folding them and doing the envelope mailers, or are they mailing them?
No, I'm letting
Never
them out myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
You could do self-mailer too, right?
well, so that is you could do self mailer where you can get them addressed where it's still an envelope though.
Yeah.
Hands off. So they would still be folding them in a 6x9 and then addressing it. So you would send like your spreadsheet and they would do a mail merge and do it for you. So you're not stuffing, sealing. It's a higher cost per piece. But they'll do it for you. But you're getting the stack if you're still doing it right now because you have the 150.
Mm.
But once you scale,
Yeah.
you might want to, look to
It's time intensive for sure.
to make that part of your
Especially once you get to 2,000 people instead of 150. But you can also have the print company do it for you. Costs a little bit more, but you're buying your time.
We showed that on the call the other day
Mhm.
where we, put that on the print website because I talked to them. I said, we have all these different variables that people use the templates for.
Mhm.
So there's one on there. So the cost per piece, like I said, it seems like it's so much more. I think it's like $2.50 something cents, but that's because it's the piece. It's
I got a postcard in the mail here. I'm looking for Aaron Kelly.
If you like.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Come on, big bucks, no whammies. There it is. Look at that. All right.
yay. It works. We were all about to pass out of that.
I could have got $20 million for Sotheby's not to air this. It would. No, there's another realtor here we can give it to.
Well, that went the way it was supposed to.
Puppies.
Yeah.
It's good. But anyway, so yeah, you can look at them doing it. But yeah, Haas is more because they're doing all of the merge and work.
That's time see, which is good. This is one other postcard. I just started trying this. I trialed it with a very small group. So everyone that filled out my home value report Facebook ad, then I put them into a list and sent it. So it's a
Okay.
company called thanks.io. So basically, it automatically feeds, and every time the lead comes in, I can zap it in there, and then they'll get a postcard in the mail too.
Yeah.
So then if they scan that takes them to that iList site as well.
Okay.
And I'll get the lead, and then on the front of the card, it has a picture of the actual property, their property, and what's wrong?
We mailed to Baltimore, Maryland, and we used our PA return address.
That's everyone that's in my. This is like, like how do you solve for that?
Moved to Maryland. Just start selling a ton of houses there.
What's the postage type on this one?
That's first class.
Yeah, so they're definitely, but they're being, first class is great.
I would separate your list and say all Maryland people, here's my
Use the-
template. All my Pennsylvania people, please use this template. Just to change that, because again, you already know if you have a different area code, if there's 2 area codes that are really close, if that's a different one. In Columbus, it's 614. If you're using the 740, which is 3 miles away, they're like, oh, that's a 740 agent. It's very, how many times have we heard them say, well, where's your office?
Yeah.
And if it's 11 miles away, they're like, oh, well, you're not a specialist here. So you're better to have nothing. But if the state does require you have an address or a return address, in this case, at least have it in the right area, state, whatever the case is.
So,
But I like the offer.
no, so I was just looking. So each of these are also a secondary variable data because you're calling out to the address right in the postcard. So curious about 524. If this is going to the homeowner, it needs to say curious about what your home at 2016 Penn Road, whatever it might be. So some of this copy can maybe be reworked so that way it actually speaks out. Because right now when they read this, oh yes, it's their address, but it's their address specifically. So seeing how we can rework that. And I know these templates are different, so I'm not sure about the flexibility there because this is the one through thanks.io. So you could see, if you load
I can
click-
change that. I can change that. The
Okay.
wording completely.
Okay, perfect.
So
So, and I would see about making that bold, like when you're calling out to their address because you're speaking to them, the hi Deborah, and you're calling out to it, make that address bold because at first glance, they're so used to glancing through mail and getting rid of it quickly, they don't even realize, like, oh my God, that's my name and address on this card. Like, this is specific and special to me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a QR code here. What does this one do?
it goes to that iList site as well for the home value.
So they need a
Where-
call to action on the side. Get your home value,
Okay.
scan this QR. Was there a call to? So the same thing. This says scan me, but scan for what? Am I going to get, cupcakes showing up at my house? Am I getting a free home value? What's going to happen if I scan this? So you let people know, again, how are they experiencing the journey? You're telling them what to do and telling them what they'll get by scanning.
Did you give them this photo?
Which one? No, it automatically pulls from Google.
So that's
By their
that's
kind
the
of
property address.
yeah. That's why it's like not.
Oh, that's
Like-
their house.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was
Yeah.
going to say, you're not using this.
Oh, the trash is
In the road and all.
You know, that's why I was like, it's Sotheby's mistake.
Yeah, that may not be good.
So
But yeah, so there's but that is good to be able to.
Wait a minute. Here is the call to action, but it's nowhere near the QR. So I wait. That's what it. Yeah. So you need to make this stand out. Bold your font, put it up here with an arrow pointing to it, that type of thing.
And you definitely do want that call or text on there too. You can't use just QR code, particularly when you're going to baby boomers, because they'll say, well, I hate those apps and I don't have one of those apps to scan that thing. And they still think you need a special app for QR codes. So, for them to be able to call, I would put something in there. You'll reach me directly. Phone is answered 8 to 8, 6 days a week.
Okay.
That's a very good script that we utilize. Phone is answered 8 to 8, 6 days a week. They automatically know that's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They automatically means not Sunday.
And that one had office number too. So the making that less obvious so they don't call anonymous and they call you.
Yeah, as long as yours is bigger, and you can do that. As long as yours is bigger, that'll be the primary one their eye falls to when they're ready to call.
How?
Yep. So easy fixes there.
cool.
Did you change this letter at all, or is this our exact copy?
I'm pretty sure it's the exact.
Okay.
Any others? The newsletter on.
Yeah,
the
we're
card?
on newsletter.
Yeah.
And then these are just I put together for the developments that I have. So when I have like the Facebook leads that come in, and then I've got originally I was sending this to people as like a follow-up so that they could see, like what's sold, what's available, all the things.
And you have videos of these too,
Um,
like a video brochure, walkthrough, stuff about the community. Have you done any of that?
no.
Okay.
Mm-mm, I do not. And this is for the other one. So the other content is same thing. It's different content. So
Yeah, they'd love to get some information online for sure. Seeing floor plans and fruit. And
should really create like a landing page for them to go to. I don't have that.
even a YouTube link, of a tour, even outside the car, just looking out the drive, just driving around, showing the lots that are available, what the current homes look like, a walkthrough of a model or a recent property, lists of school district, tax district, all of that stuff. That's all very, very helpful because they're not going to wait to get something online because all the other builders or wait to get something by mail because all the other builders have it online. They can get all the data right then.
Yeah.
And these, like when you sent this was the current availability at the time that you printed and sent this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're actually going to implement it and kind of give it a plan, what do we do first? How do we get quick results? And when you see those results, that's what helps you to kind of fuel the fire to do a lot more.
I'm ready for the results.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
So now we have all the data we need to put together a great playbook and action plan for Erin to start making a lot more money. You can actually download this playbook resource yourself. You can start using this as well. We've got a lot of different approaches we're going to give her and give her the game plan, the map she needs to create so that every day she knows what to do to generate the kind of revenue she's looking for and net worth that she's looking for. Let's get into that playbook right now, and you can download it yourself for free on this episode as well. Okay, so we are ready to get to work. We're going to give you a whole bunch of homework.
All right.
And again, we'll put all this in a playbook so that you know exactly what you want to do, kind of get an orderly fashion in which to do them. Usually the easiest ones first so you feel like you've accomplished something. But we have 10. Is that what you showed? 10 things. We'll put all these in the playbook for you. Some you will like, some you won't like.
Okay.
My goal would be, the overall goal being,
Everybody's just like,
yeah,
or some will you like and some you will not like.
my goal would be,
The one they don't like involve a lot of video.
yeah, and that's everything now,
I know I need to do it.
Content is what sells. I mean, content is what works for Zillow, Realtor.com. If they didn't have content on there, people wouldn't be going there. They're seeing something that they like. In that case, it's homes for sale. But our goal is over the next 12 months, maybe 14, 12 to 14 months, you live in Baltimore. You have a business going that's solid there. You occasionally have business that comes up this way, but your primary business is Baltimore. Condos, waterfront, the stuff that you truly want to work. So building it out that way is what we want to do so that you don't paint yourself into a corner building it out right here. So the quicker we can get you going there all the time, the faster you want to move.
Makes sense.
Number one is we need to get a mailing list of every condo and the zip codes or the area that you want to sell, because that's going to be our target list. So you can
Baltimore.
in Baltimore, yeah. So you can get if you choose 2 or 3 zip codes or one particular area or whatever. The more we have, the better. But we want to skip trace those, and we want to get all of the contact information for every homeowner: their name, their address, their email, their phone number, their Facebook. All of those things. The mailing list companies we use, you've used Exact Data before. You can acquire a lot of that information by zip code, by style of home, by how long they've lived there. I would try and get all of them. You're really trying to be the number one agent. I can guarantee you nobody's even bought that list, let alone market to it regularly. That target marketing approach really works well. So that's the first thing we would do, is get a marketing list or a mailing list of every condo and the areas or zip codes you want. Based on where you're at right now, I would say under 5,000 homes,
Okay.
under 5,000 condos. So it might only be 2,800, but I would do up to 5,000 because we can market to that many every month and be okay. It's going to generate a lot more business. So that's number one.
And I inject,
Yeah.
depending on the cost per email or phone number for that list, get those too, because then we can crossbreed it over digitally with custom audience and Facebook. So you have your mail list, but then we could be hitting them with media ads as well so that they're seeing you from both sides. So yeah, when you're getting the mail list, see about the emails and phones so we can look at custom audience. And then, like I was saying, you can crossbreed direct mailers and then also hit them digitally. That being said, custom audiences going through some modification, so they're cracking down a little bit on how it could be used, but it's rolling out slowly across different parts of the country. So until we test it, we won't see if it's working here or not
Okay.
just yet. But at least you'll have them, because then you can, market to them as much as possible that way.
Right.
See what
Until
happens.
you can't.
Yep.
Okay.
The next thing you've got to do, obviously, let's say we teleport you and you move there today, you have to beat obscurity. You have to get known in the area. So the second item is to create a 3-part video series for condos, 1 for owners and 2 for potential buyers, because you can kind of rotate through those. So that would be a basic video on why you specialize in condos, what you do, what's different about them, how you would represent them in that area for owners. And then for buyers, obviously all the unique benefits, the reason they should have condos, it's better for your lifestyle, you're not spending all your time outside working, whatever those benefits are. Create a 3-part video series, because we're going to be marketing, obviously, to the sellers. We don't want to have a list of 5,000 owners and not really show good content that this is what we do. So if they do like you, they get your postcard, they check you out online, we want them to see that that is truly what you do. So that 3-part video series would make that happen. Get some good, script writing, whether you do it yourself, you hire somebody to do it, we do those things as well. But I would have 1 for owners and 2 for buyers as a 3-part video series. That would lead us to number 3, which is a 3-part video series for boomers. So thinking about what they're most interested in, they do want to downsize. They do want to save money on utilities, on living that fixed budget lifestyle. In some cases, the whole move to Pennsylvania because of tax consequences, those types of things. Capital gains, huge. So I would include that in a 3-part video series. And again, they could be almost saying the same thing in every video, but having a way for them to keep binge watching and seeing more of you. That's the whole it's not, in video 1, I'm teaching you this, and in video 2, I'm teaching you this. It's just 3 different videos that when they do start binge watching, it's more information they can see. So that would be number 3 for a 3-part video series for boomers. Number 4, we have to fix the long-term nurture using a multimedia sequence. So your long-term nurture, like when a lead first comes in, if it's find out what your home is worth or get access to unlisted homes. If you've got a good short-term nurture, what happens after 21 days? Are they going into the right list? Are they getting the right information? And then are you in front of them early and often? That's not necessarily video. That's text message, email, your newsletter. The Just List is Just Sold, a separate sales letter, occasionally a video that you would put in there. Different things that way would help you tremendously just to be in front of them so that they see a good offer and they reply, or they've just seen your stuff a lot. As you've said, the people you send a newsletter to, they like getting it. It's got good information in it. So I would do that consistently in the long-term nurture. And that should really be an entire campaign for your sphere of influence, your past clients, the 150 as well as the 3,000 or whatever. So you would kind of build that out. And the way to look at it is, I've talked about this on a couple of our Inner Circle coaching calls. If you went to the Baltimore Ravens stadium, they probably hold 40,000 people. You'd probably spend a lot of time if you had to talk for 20 minutes in front of all those people. You'd spend a lot of time thinking about, what do I want to say? What educational info do I want to give? What call to action do I want to have? When you start getting 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people on a list, that's literally what you're doing. Imagine you're in the stadium in real life. That's what you're doing digitally. So if it's a text message you're broadcasting, if it's an email that you're sending out, if it's a video that you're creating, you want to really think about, is this going to fall on deaf ears, or is it going to create the impact that I want it to? And those that are interested would say yes. Okay. So that long-term nurture is kind of geared around staying in touch with them and building that list. What I like to do is measure it every week. So like, let's say if you were sending an email every week, you've probably heard me say before, if you send an email every Friday for 10 weeks, they got 3 emails because you got a 30% open rate. So don't think that mailing every Friday is too much. They're going to get 3 every 2.5 months, every 10 weeks. They're going to get 3 emails from you because 7 of them get deleted or into the spam box or whatever. But I would work that very heavily on the long-term nurture side and really kind of think through, here's my followers, here's my people, what am I going to put in front of them?
And the Sotheby's email is in your CRM that it fires from?
Yeah, it does.
Paid email address.
I do have a paid email address. Actually, it goes from as I set up one specifically for it in Outlook, Erin at ekellyrealtor.com. So it actually, I think, sends from there.
Okay.
And responses go to both. So if they reply, it goes to my email and also to my Sotheby's, so that I get it in both places.
Okay.
And I get the leads in both places too, from Facebook as well.
Okay.
They come in.
Very good. So that's number 4, long-term nurture. Number 5 is kind of going back to the other one we talked about here, a baby boomer information package. So much like you've done with these here, you need to have a hard package that you send to them, which has details that would be helpful for them. That can include your dream team. So an auction company, a clean out company, the junking services, a staging company, get rid of your pink walls and your purple carpet, repair handyman stuff, different things that way. I would have all of that in that package and then really position the sales copy around what your new lifestyle is going to look like. Imagine you're living in a low maintenance home. You're on a fixed budget and you never have to worry about money again. You're in an active community, or in your case, you have a new construction home. If they build a new home in one of those areas where you don't have to worry about that and things are under warranty, all of that will be incredibly helpful for just kind of future pacing them to their desired goal, but along the way, conquering all the objections that have been holding them up for years. Because it was so easy for the baby boomers that refused to move. They were calling it aging in place. It made sense to do that because logically, we're always logic or emotion. Emotionally, they didn't want to move, but it made sense logically because the home values were going up. Now that logic has went away, why are you in a 9,000 square foot house and it's just you and your spouse?
Right.
Now that logic has went away, the emotionally, we have to get them to, the capital gains and all that, but fixed income makes more sense. The lower budget makes more sense. The active lifestyle makes more sense. Just they'll feel happier. We want to kind of push on that a little bit. So get a good information package together so that when they watch your videos, your call to action in the video is, by the way, if you'd like a free information package, we'll mail it to you free of charge, no obligation. We'll even pay the postage. We'll just get it out to you. And I think you'll find this helpful. It has lots of local resources, professional businesses that we've vetted out that we'd highly recommend you consider.
Okay.
So something like that. So that's your call to action in the videos to get them to initially show themselves to you, to identify themselves and their address and their contact info.
So they're requesting the package, and then the package has all the information he just rattled off.
Yep.
In there too, where we talked about the capital gains video, or where we said about the 3-part series, the decluttering, you can also have a dedicated page in the info package of almost like the choose your adventure. Interested in decluttering? Scan this QR code to find the quick fixes. New construction, right for you? Sick of repairs and maintenance? Scan this to learn all about new construction. So that way you're seeding in how we were talking earlier about crossbreeding your marketing, so that you're putting those other offers. So that way anything that you've seen your boomers have interest in, speak to it and then do content on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're using that content in a variety of ways. So your 3-part series could be a scan in the package.
Right. As far as like should I continue, do you think, with still like the Boober letter campaign, as well as the video pieces as well?
Well,
Keep
multimedia.
doing all the things I'm putting here.
Yeah.
With let me proof them. Yeah, I would do some revisions to them, but let me proof them. Just email them to me. We can take a look at them and see if there's any adjustments to make. Because I want you, when you send it out, a lot of it. Say you send everything out today, I'm going to be sitting there thinking, man, I hope she gets response so that she loves this and wants to do it more. Because if you don't get response, you'll find something else to do, and you won't have that consistency you need.
Right.
So we got to make sure any little change we can make to get that 1 or 2 additional closings, it's going to be worth it for you.
So the bot list that I got from Exact Data that I was using, and
That you purchased.
and then I just pulled out all the boomer data out of it. Given the number one piece of trying to focus the business in Baltimore and the surrounding area, that list is in a different county. Like that's over in Carroll County in Pennsylvania. So should I buy a different list that's really focused in the Baltimore area?
Yeah, you can still use that other list, but if we're
Yeah.
going to go, if you, if you come to me and you say, I want to sell condos on the water in downtown Baltimore, let's do it. That's how we're going to get started. You can still use the other stuff you're doing. You can still do the new builds, everything else. This is just a bolt-on business that you're going to start going and add that to the entire arsenal.
If
there.
that had the people on it, because you said that a lot of the boomers were moving into new construction. So if that list had the potential age group of boomers that you want to market new construction to, because that's still in Pennsylvania, then do that.
Let's keep doing
So you could still, yeah.
So it's just an and sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And with anything, like you said, you still do mailers if you're doing it. It's always multimedia, multi-touch, multi-approach, because one thing has to land. So if you put all of your eggs in one basket,
Right.
and then you're disappointed, so you got, and then they're hit from all those different areas too. So it crossbreeds again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Number 6 is create some sort of landing page and digital assets for the new construction neighborhoods. So those 2 communities that you have, we need to have something online where they can download it, get the checklist, everything else. Do you have those 2 communities on newhomesource.com?
No, he didn't want to pay for it.
Okay.
So, and I was already like, I pay for all the marketing for us. Like, he doesn't really contribute to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's no reason why. I guess I can look into it myself and see.
She wouldn't really need them on New Home Source because it's a custom. New Home Source is what, I'm sure it has the information. Nobody's going. We don't send anybody.
Yeah, I'm just saying for getting them sold and getting more traffic, it would get them more traffic. There's definitely benefits to not being on Zillow. I'd be on Zillow. You're going to get more traffic.
All the listings are on Zillow, but we're also part of the new construction communities on Zillow as well.
Okay.
So that's on there.
Yeah, definitely. So landing page and digital assets for new construction, an information package, a downloadable PDF. The things that you do that are really nice offline, we want to do online so they can have it readily available. You can still do the request for information via PDF download. Have this PDF sent to your phone immediately, fill this out. So you're capturing that information and it's going, it's going directly to their phone.
And that's where I talked about earlier. Look to see if they have the digital renderings of what the final builds look like.
The 2-story, single story. Yeah, he doesn't really have that because he's kind of he's the type of builder where people just bring their own plans. Oh, okay. So we have a home plan site that we recommend, and that's where I'll pull example homes that we'll post on the MLS with it. So I can pull that from there, and so those are renderings of the actual homes. So we could use those
Yeah.
as examples.
As examples, but then also like if he does custom and they bring their own plans, that's like a whole content strategy right there.
Right.
You know, bring your own floor plans, we'll build it. What do you want? We'll build it.
Yeah.
Need somebody to help you draft out plans? Let us know your visions. We'll build it. So that could be like a whole thing too,
Right.
that then you could start putting on that landing page and then adding into any of the new construction marketing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that really contributes to video content too. You know, if you've considering buying new construction, you know what the big problem is. There's certain things you love, but there's a lot of things you hate. You love this floor plan, but man, if it didn't have that. You love this area, but man, you can't build a floor plan there. Did you know you can design it exactly as you want, clear down inch for inch, with a custom build home where you have say-so in the floor plan, the design, the colors, and can build from the ground up. The only thing better than owning a home is designing and building your own. We can do that here. If you're in this area, this is a great community. We've got these size lots. So building that sales pitch as to if they're looking right now, they are frustrated. They haven't found what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their big problem. So you can show them why this is a better opportunity.
Okay.
Yep. So that can create good content, get more people watching. Again, have a good call to action in that. The way you structure those videos, the director of those videos needs to be really, really good at understanding what the concept is for, not just impressing them or getting more views or getting people to watch the whole thing, but getting them to take action for what they want to do.
Are you going to be my director?
Yeah, possibly. That's expected. But yeah, we do that a lot. Obviously, we're traveling around doing that. But that's the thing is a lot of people worry about lighting and video quality and all of that, but they're not worrying about the words they're saying. Like you've got to get these people to reply to you and feel confident that they can move forward. They can at least explore it a little bit without having high pressure or feeling like they're being forced into something. So, a lot of that comes into play. So that's number 6. Number 7, the big one.
Ooh.
$30,000 paid to the credit card today. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Send me a screenshot.
Phone.
Yeah. Send me a screenshot sometime today. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, so just do it and then tell her when she gets home.
Yeah.
But this is, it truly is. I'm not allowed to give financial advice. I'm going to give you some friendly advice. That is the smartest thing you can do. You will feel so much better. It's still totally available to you tomorrow if you need it. You just take it back. You got the room on the card. But it's such a smart way to really take out a huge chunk and building what you're trying to build, get rid of all this debt, start putting a bunch of money away. When I first started doing when I started getting a little better in business and was right on the verge of making a ton of money, I started getting rid of debt, and it was the fastest path to multiple millions of dollars. I mean, it is so much better to be able to do that. And looking back now, I mean, some of the stuff that I do and to have access to that type of money, it all came from just getting rid of buying marble floors for Capital One. You know what I mean? The money we give them, they're supposed to have really fancy furniture when you get there. But I think that would make such a huge difference for you. It's still totally available. The money's owed. Let's just pay it and stop paying more on top of what we owe. And still available for you if needed, but that would be a really, really smart move. Take a chunk out of it. And then again, give yourself a 6-week time frame that all credit card debt will be gone. Within 6 weeks, I'm going to get extra revenue that I didn't plan on making just from what we're doing here. I'm going to get extra revenue to pay off another 40 grand or whatever. It's like 3 or 4 deals. And it's completely paid off, and you can give the zero debt scream that I finally gotten there. But that would be the fastest, easiest way for you to take a big action today to feel like you're heading in the right direction. Okay? You going to do it, or you going to just...
I'm going to do it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Number 8, getting a little more consistent on foundational model. So for every agent that ever joins me, when they first join Inner Circle Coaching, They want to confuse themselves and overwhelm themselves with, look at all this stuff available. Oh my gosh, we got this, and Greg's got this, and here's 88 months worth of coaching calls, and here's all of this stuff. And I'm like, no, no, no. Foundational model. Go meet a FSBO today, because you're going to get too overwhelmed with learning all of this stuff and you're not going to implement. So you've seen that going on the appointments works, and it will get you those appointments. You just got to close harder, And I think the big thing is going out there and feeling like you have a stair step option. We wouldn't say it this way, but will you list with me today at 7%? Okay. Will you list with me at 5? Okay, will you list with me at 4? Okay, will you do a weekend listing? Hey, can I do an open house for you? Can you buy a house with me? You go ahead and sell your home on your own, and I'll help you to find unlisted homes since you haven't found a home yet. Find something stair step down that they're willing to agree to work with you now. And even if it is, yeah, if you can find me unlisted homes that aren't on Zillow, I'll go look at them with you. Great. They're now my buyer. I can have them agree to that, and I can start sending the Greg Luther letter. I'll get a bunch of sellers from that. And if we do find homes, the best way to get them to list with you is to get them to fall in love with their next house, because now they got to get rid of the one they no longer love. I've always said that the only way to get someone to get a divorce is you got to wait for them to fall in love with something else. So this is their home, and unless everything's perfect, they're not going to do it. Well, when they fall in love with the next house, they want to divorce this thing now. So get rid of it.
Huh.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is getting consistent on foundational model. Decide which ones you want to do. You don't have to do all of them, but FSBO, expired, divorce attorney, probate attorney, maybe choose 2 that you really want to work heavy on. And then say the FSBO approach, if you do want to work that, having a good 2 time per week approach, touching them 2 times per week. That Monday approach we teach inside foundational model of updating prices. How'd your open house go yesterday? Doing that on Monday. But something else throughout the week, even if it is, here's the 3 homes I recently sold, or here's a video I thought you would find helpful for you, or here's some information about target marketing you may not know even existed. You could get on your computer and just screen record you going through exact data. If I had a home that was in this area that was 3,000 square feet, I know here's the most likely buyer. So here's what I would look for on exact data. This is what we do as realtors, as a target marketer. If you are trying to sell your home on your own, here's a good step to go in the right direction. They're like, holy crap, I can't do that. I need to hire you to do it. So it's just more good content that you can put together, to stay in touch with them, because as they get fatigue, when they get tired of trying to do it on their own, thinking the next Sunday open house is going to sell their home, you're going to get their information and they're going to want to work with you. Okay, so consistency there. Number 9 is a Facebook ads overhaul. Getting a little better at segmenting your list a little bit, getting the Pennsylvania message to Pennsylvania, the Maryland message to Maryland. Condos to condos, new construction to new construction, and baby boomer are unique as well. Talk to them about their own thing. You can't be a specialist in luxury, short sale, condos, and 2 states.
Right.
It's just, we're a jack of all trades. Did you want to talk a little bit about kind of how to overhaul Facebook or segment that list a little more?
Yeah, so we need to see, and you could probably make some notes to send me some screenshots of your current ad account, so I can look at that better. But you were saying you spend a certain amount of money and you'll get these pops and then lulls and pops and lulls, but that's because we need to segment out the 2 areas and then look at the audience size so we can make your dollars per day work.
What's the ideal audience?
So typically, some of like what we do with some of Famous Agent, you could do $3 to $5 a day, 500 to 600,000 people. And that'll give you more of a consistent roll in of leads versus if you're telling it to spend your budget in a week or telling it to spend it over the course of a month.
Mhm.
That's why you're getting those pops.
Okay.
So it's audience size based on a daily spend. So you could do the math and still spend the same money, but you're telling it to spend it in a daily version versus
And what's the audience size again?
500 to 600. Yeah.
500, 600 people?
1,000.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, 5 no, 600,000.
Nowhere near. 500,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that works is like, if you take, this is geographically, but look at it as just 500,000 data points or data people. If you've got this big circle, all 500,000 people are in this. And Facebook goes through their learning phase the first 3 days, depending on what you're spending.
Yeah.
2 or 3 days, it's going to go through and you get like a lead here, and then this kind of lead replies, and then this kind of lead replies, and then this kind of lead replies. They're like, oh, wait a minute. This little segment, we need to start putting more of the money here. So where they're not getting any replies from these 200,000 people, whatever that lookalike audience is, they're like, let's just keep leaning the money this way because this is what's working. So that learning phase, you got to get through that first 3 days. You may get a lot of response. You may get very little response, but you got to let it put the money out there and it'll start to push it over where it needs to go. So it'll get smarter. And over the course of a week, you'll get higher lead counts, lower cost per lead. It just gets, it's a smarter algorithm. You know, the computer always beats a person.
And then also when you send me the screenshots, send me, are you doing it lead form style? So you're capturing name, email, phone number. What are all the asks that you're asking for?
Okay.
Because if you're asking for too much, you're going to get abandonment. They're going to give up. They don't want to give away all of that information because they don't feel comfortable. So we need to make sure you're asking correctly. And then what's on the thank you side of that? So what's the immediate access that they're getting? Are they downloading a PDF? Are they just being told thank you? Are you saying, hey, you could see this video below? Because you can customize what's on the back end. So when we're fixing and you're doing the 3-part series on these different things, that can also be a call to action in a Facebook ad. Click to see the 3-part series on how baby boomers are successfully downsizing in this area. They opt in, and then that can go right to your video. So now with the other stuff of the playbook, you could fix all of that too. And I think you had a pretty hardy budget for Facebook. I think you said $750 a month. So, I mean, with some of what we've talked about in like Facebook Riches, we'll say $3 a day on an ad. So you could do free home value, perfect home finder, new construction at $3 a piece. So that's $9. And then a retargeting for $1 a day. So that's 10 times 30 days. That's 300. So your budget is more than double what we normally see success with. You just have to spread the board and play the game differently.
Right.
And then once you know your CAC, once you know the cost to acquire a customer, that's where you can scale it up a little more. So if you know, like if you're spending $300 a month, but you're willing to spend $600 a closing, we're only going to have one closing every 2 months, you know, if that's where it works out. So I would spend $600 a week if I know I have a closing every week. Well, hey, that seems to be working. Let's go to $1,200 a week. We can start getting 2 closings every week, you know, and as long as you can keep scaling up and those numbers work, you don't hit that kind of the critical mass factor
Or diminishing return.
or diminishing returns. Yeah, you want to make sure that you keep scaling up as high as you can. So if you know that spending $10 a day is getting you 3 leads a day, why don't we try and get to 30 leads a day? As long as the back end system's working, they're actually turning into money.
Right.
You don't just want to keep getting a bunch of contact info that doesn't turn into business.
Right, which feels like
You know.
happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the using, not to pick on Zillow, but to use Zillow as an example, if you had 2 zip codes and you're like, wow, this is working great. I'm getting tons of leads from these 2 zip codes, but you're not converting any of them. And then you're like, oh, 3 more zip codes just opened up. No, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
It's more people that find out you're not good at conversion, you know. So you want to get good at what you do individually, get that thing working well so you know your true cost to acquire a closing or a true client, you know, that actually closes business. Then you can scale that up. We don't care about cost per lead because a lead's worth nothing. You know, it's cost per closing.
And a lot of people get excited by clicks and views. That means nothing to us.
Hmm.
So it's who you actually acquired.
How many clicks does it take to pay your electric bill? He can have 78 million and they would take $1 off.
And then I don't think we might have asked this earlier. Is all of your Facebook leads going into the CRM?
Yeah.
Automatically.
Um,
So that's already hooked up. You have Zapier or some magic.
Yeah,
That's
that's here.
because there's always the integration tool. So now what long-term nurture was number whatever of the playbook. Now when they're dumping in and we have ads properly running, they can feed into
They get targeted to them.
Well, no, but I'm saying as far as the database, she can feed into her short-term nurture and then they all feed into the long-term nurture. So now they're all getting that same streamlined situation as far as the follow-up.
Right.
And then, yes, they could also be retargeted as well, where anybody who's visited your page in the last 180 days, it'll track and you can run ads. And those, the cost on that is much cheaper. That's why we say $1 a day. So you could do $2 a day. So we
They're
can,
less than a penny a per.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the retargeting, you can have helpful videos, you can have additional things that you're just showing them because at that point they've already interacted with something and that's why they're being hit. And it's just really staying top of mind presence at that point until timing and motivation, they're going to make the play.
And there's a lot you can do just to get people initially tagged to get them cookied and you can follow up with them. so that you have more people watching Facebook. So when you do post something, you're getting a lot more views, a lot more followers, a lot more people seeing your content, bouncing them over to your YouTube channel. Once you have some things on there, bouncing them over to that. So, they're going to consume a lot more information from you. Cool. And then number 10 is trying to get yourself more Google reviews. Fixing Google as far as local services, try and refreshing that a little bit. Figure out what you can do to get a lot more. We can give you some tips on that too. You'll see some of that on the members website. But just to start getting more Google local services calls where they're contacting you directly, and really following that journey of what the client is doing. Like I did, call the office because the office number is on there. Scan the QR code, see what these things are doing.
So when we say the fixing of Google and local service ads, but then we're also fixing like all of the different experiences we've talked about. So what should we look at on all of the postcards? So some of those nuances that we told you to fix and overhaul there, the letters, moving that down to the footer, just overhauling all of these little elements that you're already doing is number 10 to make them more profitable and more effective for you. Um, the checkup of like what Greg was just saying, calling, making sure, like you said, I'm not really sure what happens when they opt in. What happens? Like you opted in. Did you check email while we were gone?
Yeah, I got it.
So you got his.
Yeah, I got the lead.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we know that it.
Yeah, you can actually be your own secret shopper.
Yeah.
Like you can shop your own stuff. Like what happens when I fill this out, when I call the office, when I whatever. Just so you kind of know what happens and ensure that it is the type of experience you want them to have. That's that sales choreography.
Right.
So I would get that going good, and definitely build your testimonials as well.
Mhm.
I mean, we talked about testimonials from boomers, from new construction. You've probably sold new construction where they'd let you come in and do a little bit of video too.
Yeah.
Examples of what, builder quality and that type of thing. You might be able to do that. You might be able to get a testimonial from them. So you've been in your home 1 year now. Tell me what your thoughts are. How do you like the community? How do you like the quality of the home? Is there anything you would change? That type of stuff. Were you nervous when you first thought about buying a home? Are you happy you finally went through with it? So a lot of that stuff can be good repurposing content. It's educational, it's motivational. It shows them like, hey, this is going to be okay. Take the step forward. I would get as much of that as you can because that's going to be digital assets that you can utilize on a consistent basis. And
And-
really I think those are going to be the kind of the key factors to putting all this together and hitting the numbers you want.
And I know we didn't say this is like an official number 11 or something, but getting that marketing calendar so that all of this, what you're normally doing, reworked for the fixes we said, plus the new stuff, plus leaving that future opportunity, redo that marketing calendar. So you have a full picture of what to follow.
Mm.
And then you migrate your stuff to your daily planner. So it's more consumable in the bite-sized chunks. But again, it's not necessarily a playbook call out, but that's the only way you're going to stay organized and feel good about it.
Yeah.
Especially when you are making things happen, write that back down, like the to do to put to done, because you like the lists, you like the
Yeah.
goals.
I like to check off.
Yeah, so
Do a trend line.
yeah, exactly. So, but having that on your planner is your daily, but seeing the whole thing further out and knowing what's coming down is great. So, and just it helps you just stay accountable to yourself. And the bigger play, which is not being discussed in playbook either, is if you were to get down the road and hire somebody, now you have a whole system that you can hand off. And here's the marketing calendar. This is what you need to follow. This is what we do for success. You've built in your own standard operating procedure. You've made your own SOPs to your business.
Yeah.
Should that, transpire down the line, which would be the big goal, right? So you could just make the money behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think if you set this up, I think it's very realistic to do. If we go low, let's say you do 400,000 gross revenue over the next 12 months. Net revenue would probably be around 320, somewhere in that range. You're usually looking about 20% between all cost, expenses, everything else. So it's a good start. It's actually great for a lot of agents' perspectives. It's a really good start, but it would also get you into a position that you could say, okay, I can pull myself out of production. And the way you would pull yourself out of production is up and out the top. So I'm only taking deals 600,000 and above. Everything else, that's what I'm training these people on. Then 700,000 and above, then 800,000 and above, then only 1 million, or maybe only a zip code or whatever it is. You're going to go up and out the top. as you're kind of teaching all the other people to handle the business so that you're still very active. You're just doing it from home as a CMO. You're running that business as the marketing director. And that's where you really ramp up the big money. It's not about having a team. There's no benefit to having a team as a real estate agent. You might need an employee, a licensed employee to go out and do the business, but you got to have the business first.
Right.
The whole team structure is an ego thing. It's not needed. If you can go out on more appointments today, you don't need another licensee. If you're going out on 3 appointments, now you need some help. But if you had 2 appointments, we don't need a team member because you can take that third one. You see what I mean? So you really want to only bring on people when the systems have developed a business that you need the people to do it.
Agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. Those are the 10 items. So we'll have all of that in the playbook for you. We'll show you exactly how to put that together. The better you do at implementing it, scripting it, making sure it's done every day, even clear down to the FSBOs. Am I doing a great job with appointments? Am I doing a great job with follow-up? That's where it rolls into 10.1, which is the marketing calendar of, am I following up with all those FSBOs? Am I following up with the leads from Facebook? Am I following up with the stuff I got online and other sources? Are they getting good content in front of them? Not just follow-up's a bad word. It's literally, I'm calling to F you. I'm calling to follow up, it's a bad word. People hate it. You never want to say, I'm just calling to follow up. They're like, this is a salesperson trying to get money from it. So call to give them real good information, or email them or mail them to give them something that's helpful for them. That's the proper way to follow up so that they do want to do business with you. But the better you get at those 10 and the quicker you do it, the quicker you can start to approach that $1 million a year in Baltimore. That's ultimately where we want to get to. And it takes time, effort, stress at the beginning, takes some money at the beginning too. And the more you can put into all 4 of those things, the time, the effort, the stress, and the money. If you can put a lot into that, it's going to come much faster rather than doing it slow. No different than $10 a day on Facebook compared to $100 a day. If the machine is working, pour some fuel on that fire, get it working more. The advertising budget is the gasoline that makes it work.
Do you have our no script book? You do have that?
I do.
Read it again.
Okay.
Because a lot of the questions that I know I was asking about tunnel vision versus funnel vision, are you flipping the script? Are you saying the thing to get them to the next thing? There's a lot of what we call the Gregisms and stuff that he rattles off. We put that in that script book, how to handle objections, how to navigate this a little differently. And we call it the no script because nothing's perfect. So we don't want you to be scripted, but it gives you a lot of really strong bullets and nuggets. So that way you're converting these people differently. Because it's great that you got the appointments, and it's great that you're getting in the door and they're texting you back, but then we're losing them because we had that tunnel vision.
Right.
So review that if you have it. I was gonna say I'll send it to you again, and we didn't, but that's a big one to review. That's just a mindset thing.
Absolutely. Cool. But those are really the 10 items. You get more items than most because we've been around 7.
It's like 7 and 11. That's
a good thing or a bad
7. Okay, no, 7 and 11. But I mean, honestly, we could probably give them a 100-part playbook, but nobody would do it.
All right. So that is the multi-step approach that we're putting in place for Erin, and we've got a detailed playbook for her to utilize. Now, you can download this yourself as well. You'll see the information in the description below where you can get access totally free of charge. You'll get instant access right now. More importantly, I want to make sure you see every episode of Greg Luther's Real Estate Rescue. As long as you're subscribed to the YouTube channel here, ring the bell, turn on notifications so you know every time a new episode is posted. You're going to get the entire training, the entire episode, and you're also going to be able to download the playbook for that individual agent. I want you to use all of it in your own real estate business and let me know how it's working for you. So make sure you give us a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe here, and you'll get the next episode too. Go down to the video description. You'll be able to get the playbook right now, and we'll see you on the next episode of Greg Luther's Real Estate Rescue.
I just finished meeting with Greg and Nicole, and I'm feeling still excited, very excited about everything that we talked about and all the opportunities to take advantage of. There's always a little bit of feeling of I hate the word overwhelm, but overwhelmed from the sense of, okay, where do you start? And you just, I guess, have to start somewhere and get going and start taking some actions. And I'm really optimistic about the future and looking at the next 12 to 18 months and really what's possible. So that's really exciting for me as well. My biggest aha moment, I think, is when we were talking geographically about how to really shift my strategies to align with where ultimately Andrew and I want to be and what we obviously want our lifestyle to be and but building the business around that and being very intentional about it, because although we keep talking about kind of where we want to be in X amount of time and doing, certain things, the business planning around it really wasn't aligning with that strategy. So bringing those two together, I think, was one of the biggest ahas of the day. So for agents watching this that are maybe considering working with Greg Luther and Nicole, I know from my experience of being in the coaching program for the last 2.5 years or so that it's been invaluable as far as from the sense of really having tactical things to put in place that move your business forward. And I I actually had the benefit of that right from the beginning up until this moment, and this moment is now, even more so around the tactical pieces that I have in place that will, help to move my business forward. So I'm super excited about that. And if you're considering this, definitely do it.